Chapter 1772. Liang Xinji was angered by Liang Xinyue. This woman was deliberately finding fault with her and picking on her. Her words were really unpleasant. "You're the one who's shameless. You're just jealous that my cousin is good to me and lent me the clothes." Liang Xinji retorted angrily. Liang Xinyu bit her lower lip and said sarcastically to Liang Xinji, "Oomph, no matter how beautiful the clothes are, they'll be ruined on you. You're so ugly. It's useless no matter how you dress up. You're too much." Liang Xinji glared at Liang Xinyue angrily. This woman only knew how to use her appearance to criticize her. Although she wasn't as beautiful as Liang Xinyue, she wasn't considered ugly, right? Now that she was dressed up like this, she felt pretty good. Guo Caixia couldn't bear to see her daughter being bullied, so she reprimanded Wu Zhenju, second sister-in-law. "Look at what kind of daughter you've raised. How could she say such things about my Zi?" Wu Zhenju was also protective of his own. "My Yuer girl didn't say anything wrong. Zier's appearance isn't as good as my Yuer's. Even so, you can't scold her like this. My girl, even if she's not as good looking, shouldn't she be dressed in beautiful clothes? How can you say that she's ruined?" Wu Zhenju's mouth twitched a few times, and he said lightly, "Isn't this a child's play? It's no big deal to bicker. Sister-in-law, why are you fussing over this?" Guo Caixia rolled her eyes. "Second sister-in-law, it's easy for you to say. How is this bickering? Your girl is clearly..." Before Guo Caixia could finish, old Madame Liang immediately interrupted. All right. All you know is when you'll stop quarreling. It's one thing to quarrel at home, but this is your sister's house. Aren't you afraid that others will laugh at you if they hear you?" Old Madame Liang felt a wave of annoyance in her heart. She was old and liked peace and quiet. Every day at home, she had to listen to her two daughters-in-law quarreling. It was so noisy that her head hurt. Staying at her daughter's house last night was indeed much quieter. If she could stay there for a period of time, she could also take a breather and not have to listen to her two daughters-in-law's quarrel. Guo Caixia and Wu Zhenju both shut their mouths angrily. In the kitchen, Zhao Yuner was very busy. At this time, Zhao Wenhua, Zhao Tianhu, and Zhao Tianan himself had already arrived at the village and borrowed the tables and chairs. When it was close to 11 o'clock in the afternoon, almost everyone had arrived. Zhao Yun began to prepare for the banquet. Everyone sat down. There were 8 people in each seat. Excluding the children, there were exactly 2 people on each side. Several men from old Zhao's house came over to drink wine. Before the banquet started, Hu Chunhua went to Zhao Yuner's kitchen and said to Zhao Yuner, "Yuner, when you're cooking later, leave a few good dishes for me. I'll bring them back for your aunt to eat later." Before Zhao Yuner could refuse, Hu Chunhua hurriedly explained, "Yuner, don't worry. Your aunt just doesn't like the food I cook and wants to eat yours. We won't take your food for free. We'll pay for it. Here's 1 tael of silver. Take it. It should be enough to buy your food, right?" Zhao Yuner glanced at Hu Chunhua. Now she knew how to be tactful and didn't want to take it for free. "Okay, I'll leave some good dishes," Zhao Yuner said as she took the silver from Hu Chunhua's hand. Chapter 1773. Hu Chunhua didn't expect that Zhao Yun would really take the tael of silver. She was just saying it and thought that Zhao Yun wouldn't really take it. She had underestimated Zhao Yun. With Zhao Yun's calculated personality, how could she not accept her money? Hu Chunhua felt a little sad as she watched the tael of silver fall into Zhao Yun's hands. Her heart ached terribly. After all, 1 tael of silver could buy a lot of things. A jin of meat was only 15 copper coins. 1 tael of silver could buy dozens of jin of meat. If they ate meat every day, they wouldn't be able to finish it even after a few months. This girl accepted it with a clear conscience. Seeing that Hu Chunhua was still standing in the kitchen, Zhao Yun raised her eyebrows and asked, "Grandmother, why haven't you left yet? What are you doing in my kitchen?" Hu Chunhua pursed her lips and put away the distressed expression on her face. She said to Zhao Yun, I'll leave now. After Hu Chunhua left the kitchen, Zhao Yun couldn't help but laugh. Seeing that Zhao Yun suddenly laughed, Liang Jinxiao asked curiously, "Yun, what are you laughing at?" "I'm laughing at grandmother's distressed expression. How could she not be happy to get one tael of silver for free? Liang Jinxiao was amused by Zhao Yun. I thought what you were laughing at? So it's this. Mother, here's the money. Zhao Yun said as she stuffed one tael of silver into Liang Jinxiao's hands. Liang Jinxiao smiled and helped Zhao Yun keep it. If it was in the past, it would be harder to get one tael of silver out of Hua Chunhua's hands than to reach the heavens. Now that Zhao Xinhui was married to young Master Meng, the family was rich, so it was not as rare as before. However, Liang Jinxiao always felt that no matter how rich he was, he should not waste it casually. If something were to happen, it was always good to have more money in hand. When the time came, they would have emergency funds. The mother and daughter continued to work in the kitchen. At this time, Zhao Ping and her family also came over. She originally thought that at most, only Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan would come to drink. Under normal circumstances, only one person would come. Zhao Yuner knew that Zhao Pinger liked to take advantage of others, so she dispersed the two of them when arranging their seats. However, he did not expect Zhao Ping and her family to come along, including Mr. and Mrs. Qin, as well as that fool, Qin Xuan. When Zhao Wenhua saw this situation, he immediately felt troubled and did not know what to do. Father, are there any seats left? Let's sit down. You can't expect us to stand, right? Zhao Ping and her family came relatively late. By the time they arrived, all the seats had been taken. This doesn't seem to be enough, Zhao Wenhua muttered. Zhao Ping pursed her lips and said, Father, how can that be? Unimportant people can sit, but our family came all the way here. How can we not have a seat? Zhao Ping grumbled unhappily. But you didn't say that your family would come. We didn't arrange a seat for you. Zhao Wenhua frowned and explained. Zhao Ping was much more stubborn. She said to Zhao Wenhua, Father, I don't care. You have to arrange a seat for us. Zhao Wenhua looked troubled. Wait a moment. Father will think of a way. Chapter 1774. Zhao Wenhua wandered around and looked around, but he still could not find an empty seat. There were more people than he expected. Some of them came on the same day and brought money as gifts. How could he not let them sit down and eat? Many of the tables had 2 extra people. Now that Zhao Pinger and her family were seated, it was indeed too crowded. After wandering around and finding that there were no extra seats, Zhao Wenhua went to Zhao Pinger and discussed with Zhao Pinger. Pinger, there really aren't enough seats. Why don't you bring your in-laws and sit with your uncle? Zhao Pinger glanced at where the Liang family was sitting. They had already prepared so much. How could the 5 of them sit down? How could they squeeze more than 10 people into a table? Father, are you joking? How can we fit so many people? Then what should we do? We don't have that many tables at home. Also, we only prepared these tables for the banquet. We can't do anything about it if we don't squeeze, Zhao Wenhua said helplessly. However, Zhao Pinger did not give up. Father, are you doing this on purpose? Why is it that everyone else has a seat, but our family doesn't have a seat? Zhao Wenhua was helpless against Zhao Pinger. He was already busy today and was a little flustered. Before he could sort out his thoughts, Zhao Pinger came to him and made a fuss. Zhao Wenhua sighed and continued to explain. Pinger, didn't they come first and you came later? They already found a seat and sat down. I can't possibly chase them away now, right? They might say that our family's host was not polite and the villagers might criticize us. It was not that Zhao Pinger did not understand, but Zhao Pinger was unwilling to compromise. Father, what do you think we should do now? Don't tell me we can't sit down and eat. If you don't serve them well, my mother-in-law's family will definitely make trouble for me. Father, do you want to see me suffer? After hearing Zhao Pinger's words, Zhao Wenhua pondered for a moment. It was useless for him to discuss it with Zhao Pinger now. He had to discuss it with the family Qin first. However, looking at the Qin family members, it was clear that they were unwilling to compromise. Father, go and discuss it with Yuner. See if we can put together another table for the banquet. We can arrange for you to sit at a new table. That should work, right? Only then did Zhao Pinger respond. Father, then you should go quickly. Okay, Zhao Wenhua as he spoke and walked towards the kitchen. Yin Zhao Yunlong called out to Zhao Yin Father, what's the matter? Zhao Wenhua rubbed his hands together and explained the situation to Zhao Yun'er somewhat embarrassedly. Yun'er, the seating arrangement outside is indeed a little tight. Why don't we add another table for the banquet? We can't treat Ping'er's in-laws too well. They might complain later. Zhao Yun'er frowned when she saw Zhao Wenhua's honest look. Zhao Ping'er, that be *TCH, actually had the nerve to bring her whole family over. It was already polite of her to let him and Qin Yuan come over for the banquet. He did not expect this family to be so thick-skinned. Chapter 1775. This, Zhao Wenhua frowned. If you were to tell Zhao Ping, that, who knew how Zhao Ping would kick up a fuss later. If he had known that so many people would come, he would have prepared an extra table in advance. When he made the arrangements, he didn't think too much about it. He was afraid that if he arranged an extra table, there wouldn't be so many people coming and the dishes on the table would go to waste. After all, it was very hot in this season, and fresh dishes couldn't be preserved for that long. What's wrong, father? Zhao Yun asked when she saw Zhao Wenhua's troubled expression. Zhao Wenhua sighed and said, I'm afraid that Ping will kick up a fuss again. I'll tell her slowly later. That girl's temper is very stubborn. Zhao Yun felt stifled in her heart. She really had to hand it to that be *TCH Zhao Ping With Zhao Wenhua's personality, Zhao Ping was only domineering in front of her parents, but she was as attentive as a dog when it came to family Qin people. If she let Zhao Wenhua go out, Zhao Ping might make things difficult for him again. Zhao Yun took a deep breath and said to Zhao Wenhua, Father, let me go out and talk. Zhao Ping couldn't act rashly in front of her. She wasn't as easy to negotiate with as Zhao Wenhua. Zhao Wenhua nodded. It was naturally better for Zhao Yun'er to talk. Yun'er was quick-witted. If she talked to Zhao Ping, she might listen. Zhao Yun'er put down the spatula and walked out of the courtyard. Zhao Ping was originally hoping that Zhao Wenhua would come out. However, when she saw Zhao Yun'er come out with a cold face, Zhao Ping's heart suddenly tightened and she was a little scared. Where's father? Zhao Ping asked weakly. Zhao Yun'er sneered. Why are you looking for father? I asked my father to arrange a seat for me. Zhao Ping blurted out guiltily. There's only enough space for 2 people. You brought a whole family here at once, so there's no way for all of you to sit down. Zhao Yun replied snappily. Zhao Ping blushed and said unhappily. Then what should we do? Since we're already here, you can't just let us go, right? That's your business. Who would bring so many people to a banquet? We're already being polite by preparing 2 seats for you. Sit if you want. But Dad said that he would open another table for me. Zhao Ping was a little unwilling and bit her lower lip. You also said that it was Dad who said that. I didn't agree to this. There are only so many ingredients at home. How can he open another table just because he said so? Zhao Yun'er's attitude became even colder. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er had no room for discussion, Zhao Ping could only hope that Zhao Wenhua would hurry out. Unfortunately, Zhao Wenhua was hiding in the kitchen and had no intention of coming out. Zhao Ping instantly became anxious. The Qin couple seemed to have realized that something was wrong with Zhao Ping's situation and walked over. They said to Zhao Ping in a somewhat dissatisfied tone, Ping, why can't we sit down yet? The guests are already done. We've been doing this for a long time. Your father and I are both old, and our legs aren't nimble. How can we stand for so long? Sai, my feet are already hurting from all this talking. Hearing Mu Chuanfang's complaints, Zhao Ping pursed her lips and said, Mom, you guys can stand and rest for a while. You'll be able to sit down in a while. I'm discussing with little sister Yun Mu Chunfang glanced at Zhao Yun and muttered, Girl, where are your parents? Why aren't they entertaining me? We're in-laws. How can they let their in-laws stand? Chapter 1776. That in-laws family had the nerve to come over with their whole family. To put it bluntly, it was because they saw that their family was rich and wanted to take advantage of them. Previously, they had treated them well because they wanted Zhao Ping to get married. Now that Zhao Ping This weirdo was finally kicked out. They did not have to be as polite to the family Qin people as before. Annie's words are really interesting. Didn't you see that my parents are busy with the banquet? How would they have time to entertain you? Mu Chuanfang's face instantly turned red. No matter how busy they are, they can't not even come out to greet us. And they even made us stand here for so long. It's not polite. Auntie's whole family came over for a meal. Is it polite? Who would bring their whole family to a banquet? And they didn't even greet us. How could we arrange so many seats? The seats are already full. At most, we can squeeze in 2 people. Why don't you all go back? Otherwise, there won't be any seats. You just stand here and eat. Zhao Yuner said bluntly. There was no need to be polite to these weirdos. It was fine to offend the family Qin people. It was better not to have any dealings with these weirdos in the future. They would only be at a disadvantage if they did. This, how can this be? Even if we're not relatives, we're still in-laws. We came all the way here, so how can we go back now? It's not polite to stand and eat. Mu Chunfang complained, expressing her dissatisfaction. Qin Dahai, who was standing at the side, also spoke up. Little girl, aren't we at the Qin family's place? That's why we didn't treat you as an outsider and came over with our whole family. Now that you're asking us to leave, does that mean you don't want to see us anymore? Our families won't interact with each other in the future. Zhao Yuner could tell that these people were deliberately making things difficult for them. She chuckled and said, yes, there's no need to interact with each other in the first place. Mu Chunfang and Qin Dahai were slightly stunned. What do you mean? Your parents didn't even say that. How can you say that? Zhao Ping was also angry. Zhao Yun, are you trying to sow discord between my parents and me? Mu Chunfang sneered and said sarcastically, I don't think she's trying to sow discord. She's just looking down on us poor relatives. Now that our family is rich and has built such a nice house, we don't need to interact with each other. Qin Dahai, too. Zhao Yun rolled her eyes. These people really have a lot of ideas. However, it was none of her business what they thought. What right do you have for our family to look down on you? To put it bluntly, my parents don't even want to bother with Zhao Ping. They're already being very polite by letting her come today. If you want to cause trouble, I don't mind serving you with my fists. Zhao Yun said coldly with a hint of impatience and viciousness in her eyes. Someone saw the situation and hurriedly advised the Qin couple. Hey, don't offend Yuner. To put it bluntly, if you make her unhappy, Lord Air has ways to deal with you. Do you still dare to provoke Lord Air's people? Chapter 1777. If Mu Lianfeng were to get angry and find a reason to cause trouble for them, it would be a piece of cake. It was not worth it to suffer in the future just to argue with Zhao Yuner. Qin Dahai tugged at the corner of Mu Chuanfang's clothes and whispered into Mu Chuanfang's ear, Yuaner's mother, I think we should just forget about it. Let's not talk about it anymore, lest we really get into trouble. Mu Chunfang pursed his lips and could only reply, okay. Seeing the Qin couple's arrogance instantly diminish, Zhao Yuner's lips curled up. It seemed like Mu Lianfeng's identity was useful to her. It could be used to scare people on a daily basis. Zhao Ping bit her lower lip and glared at Zhao Yun. Although she wanted to flare up, she did not dare to casually make a scene. Not to mention that Zhao Yun would personally make a move on her. Even if Little Black were to come out and bite her, wouldn't that make her cry to the heavens and the earth? Ping, little girl, your parents and I are already so old. We can't stand. Since there are only 2 seats available, then your father and I will sit. You, Yuan, and Chuan, can stand at the side and eat. Mu Chunfang said to Zhao Ping, His tone did not have any intention of discussion as he directly ordered Zhao Ping. Although Zhao Ping, was unwilling to stand while eating, she had no choice. She could not possibly let Mu Chunfang and Qin Dahai stand, right? Zhao Yuner's understanding of family Qin people deepened. She had already humiliated them like this. Could it be that these people could not be more unyielding and just leave? However, they still chose to stay and drink. In the end, it was because of their nature to take advantage of others that they could not bear to miss out on a banquet. Zhao Yun felt that such people were hateful and helpless. Right now, she did not have the energy to torment these people. As long as they did not cause trouble, everything would be fine. The Qin couple went to the Liang family's table and sat down. The children weren't at the table, but the adults. Even girls like Liang Xinyue and Su Lady could only make do with some food. Even so, the table was still very crowded. When the people of the Liang family saw the Qin couple coming over, a trace of disdain appeared in their eyes. In their impression, they still thought that the family Qin family was poor. Sigh, anyone can sit at the table. Seriously, what can we do? Eldest sister and brother-in-law are both good-tempered people. Their eyes are mine. I won't let this kind of people come over. He's just a beggar. It's really bad luck to have such a relative. The family Qin people's attitude made the Qin couple lose face, but they couldn't make a fuss with these people, so they could only endure it. After all, their family Qin was still very poor compared to other people. If they quarreled now, their family would be kicked out by Zhao Yun'er's family. In the afternoon, they couldn't even eat lunch. Their stomachs were really hungry. They had to eat a banquet. In any case, they had to eat a good meal. Otherwise, wouldn't they have made a wasted trip? Seeing that almost everyone had arrived, Zhao Yun'er prepared to serve the banquet. The dishes had already been cut and mixed, so it was very fast. In a short while, the dishes were brought to the table, and the people in the large courtyard began to eat happily. Zhao Yun'er's culinary skills naturally didn't need to be said. Everyone ate abnormally happily. Those who were not at the table ate the unfinished dishes in the kitchen. Chapter 1778. After busying herself for several hours, the banquet was finally over. After the banquet, the guests left in twos and threes, leaving only a few large tables with bowls and chopsticks. Upon seeing this, Zhao Yun'er knew that there was going to be a lot of work to do. Her head hurt a little. Compared to cooking, Zhao Yun'er hated dealing with these things after the banquet more. Many of the villagers had poor manners and made a mess of the table. Many of them chewed their food and spat it out on the table without swallowing it. As for the men, many of them drank. Some of them vomited and had diarrhea when they were drunk, making a mess of the tables, chairs, and the floor. Originally, she didn't feel tired after the banquet, but after seeing these things, Zhao Yun'er instinctively wanted to escape, but she was too embarrassed to just leave these chores to others. After the banquet, she wasn't the only one who was tired. The others also had a lot of work to do. Yun'er, go and rest. Mother will do the rest. Liang Jinxiao wiped the beads of sweat on her forehead and said to Zhao Yun'er with a smile. Zhao Yun saw that Liang Jinxiao was also exhausted. She smiled and said, Mother, let's all rest for a while and work together later. All right, we didn't have time to eat just now. Let's eat together now. Liang Jinxiao responded, Okay, let's eat first. Your eldest aunt and second aunt haven't eaten yet. There's also Mulan and Muhin. Then let's eat together. Zhao Yun'er called out and moved a clean small table out of the house. A few people who were originally busy gathered at the table and began to eat. The dishes were all leftovers from the banquet, and many of them were meat dishes. Feng Zhangxia happily came forward. Originally, she thought that eating at the table was good, but now she felt that eating after the banquet was good too. She didn't have to fight with others at the table. There was only one plate of good dishes. She took a look just now and saw that many of the women at the table were fighting over a plate of good food. They even cursed at each other. If she was at the table, she would definitely be the same. Now, they didn't even have to fight for food. They could just pick the best ones. While eating, Feng Zhangxia discussed with Zhao Yun'er. Yun'er, there's so much leftover food in your house. It'll be a waste if we can't finish it. Can I bring some for your cousin-in-law later? Zhao Yun'er was speechless when she saw the greed in Feng Zhangxia's eyes. The whole family had come over to eat, and they were still thinking of bringing some back. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er didn't say anything, Feng Zhangxia explained angrily, Hey, I came here to help you. Pan doesn't know how to cook. I'm afraid it's too late to cook now. She must be starving. Okay, sister-in-law, you can bring some to Pan later. There are still a lot of good dishes in the kitchen. Liang Jinxiao said to Feng Zhangxia. Feng Zhangxiao responded happily, as if she had picked up a big bargain. Zhao Yun'er didn't say anything. She was so tired that she didn't even have the energy to argue. Li Chuiying, on the other hand, was much more low-key. He buried himself in eating and didn't say anything about bringing some for the children at home. If it was before, with Li Chuiying's temper, he would definitely find her and ask her to bring some back. Chapter 1779. Li Chuiying was a little embarrassed. This, Yin'er, how can I bring it back? You can keep it for a few days at home. It's okay. It's not a big deal. You don't have to cook for Tianyu and Jing, when you go back. Feng Zhangxia hurriedly agreed. Second sister-in-law, since Yin'er has said so, why are you still refusing? Only then did Li Chuiying respond. Then I'll put some on later. Okay. They finished their meal quickly. Zhao Yun, touched her stomach. She didn't know if it was because she was full, but she still felt a little sleepy. After Feng Zhangxia finished eating, she ran to the kitchen happily. She hurriedly picked up the dishes she had picked up and piled them in a bowl. Li Chuiying didn't move. Zhao Yun, looked at Li Chuiying in confusion. Second aunt, why don't you do it? There's no hurry. Let eldest sister-in-law finish picking first. You could just pack whatever you like. Later, I'll ask eldest sister-in-law to bring it back for me, Li Chuiying said with a smile. Zhao Yun was even more confused. Second aunt, aren't you going back? The table at home hasn't been cleaned yet. How can you and mother be busy? That's why I'll stay and help you out. Hearing Li Chuiying's words, Zhao Yun was slightly touched. So many people didn't want to help. It was not easy for Li Chuiying to think of this. It's okay, second aunt. You've been busy the whole day. It's not right to make you busy again. Zhao Yun declined. How can you be so polite with me? It's okay. I have nothing to do at home anyway. I've eaten and brought food to your house. If I don't help you out, I'll feel bad, Li Chuiying insisted. Zhao Yun saw Li Chuiying's sincere face. She didn't mean to help. If she refused, it would seem that she made the relationship between them too estranged. Zhao Yun thought for a moment and agreed. Okay, then I'll have to trouble you again later, Li Chuiying said with a smile. You silly girl, why are you so polite? I'm not helping you for nothing this time. I'm eating and taking food. I'll feel bad if I don't do anything. Li Chuiying's words were honest. Normal people would feel the same way. If it was Zhao Yun, she would also try her best to help others do more work. However, when Feng Zhangxia heard Li Chuiying's words, she felt that she was embarrassed. Didn't she eat and take food too? Moreover, she was counting on Zhao Yun to help her family hold banquets in the future. If she stayed and continued to help Zhao Yun, she should be better than Li Chuiying. But when she glanced at the leftover bowls and chopsticks on the table, Feng Zhangxia immediately deflated. Cleaning up these things was more tiring than the work she had done earlier. The table was covered in greasy and dirty things. They might even stain her clothes. She really didn't want to do this work anymore. Feng Zhangxia smiled embarrassedly and said to Zhao Yun hypocritically, Hey Yin'er, if I have time, I'd like to continue helping you out and finish the rest of the work. But I'm in a hurry to go back and bring food to area. My eldest grandson can't live without me. I'm afraid it'll be difficult to take care of him alone. I have to go back and help Pan or take a breather. Chapter 1780. Who didn't know how to say nice things? The key was whether or not she was sincere in helping. Feng Zhangxia was just being hypocritical. Anyway, she didn't expect Feng Zhangxia to really help her, so she simply ignored Feng Zhangxia. Feng Zhangxia was a little resentful and looked a little embarrassed. She glanced at Zhao Yun's expression and saw that Zhao Yun didn't seem very happy. She couldn't help but feel a little worried. Sister-in-law, you should go back. The few of us are enough. Liang Jinxiao saw that Zhao Yun didn't say anything, so she replied. She wasn't a fool. How could she not see that Feng Zhangxia didn't want to help? However, this wasn't a big deal. They didn't have a close relationship, so how could she expect others to be considerate of her family's matters? Feng Zhangxia twitched the corner of her mouth and glanced at Zhao Yun. She held the bowl in her hand and laughed. Okay, then I'll go back first. Otherwise, the children at home will be hungry if they wait for too long. Liang Jinxiao responded faintly. Feng Zhangxia happily held the bowl and walked out of the courtyard. After a while, she disappeared. Seeing Feng Zhangxia like that, It seemed that she was afraid that Zhao Yun'er would change her mind and let her stay to help. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but shake her head. What kind of people were they? After eating, they rested for a while and recovered a lot of strength. They looked a lot more energetic. Let's tidy up, Liang Jinxiao said. Okay. Zhao Yun'er got up and went to the kitchen to take out a few basins. She tidied up the things on the table and the basins. Big sister, let me help you too. Liang Jinyu, who was about to go back, walked to Liang Jinxiao and said to Liang Jinxiao, Little sister, you're very tired from working every day. Today, you finally have a drink and can rest. How can I ask you to help? Liang Jinxiao hurriedly waved her hand and refused. However, Liang Jinyu insisted, It's okay, big sister. I'm used to working. Liang Jinxiao looked at Liang Jinyu and said, Well, you can't do anything at home. You have to work in so many fields, but you don't have to work here. Liang Jinxiao looked at Liang Jinyu with pity. Out of all her siblings, her younger sister's life was the most difficult. Especially on this day, it was probably because he worked outside every day, so his whole body was very tanned. Coupled with her shriveled and bony body, she seemed to have aged a lot. Auntie, weren't you in a hurry to go back to work just now? Why are you ignoring your own work and forcing my family to work? My family is very busy. If you're not in a hurry to go back, you can rest by the side and chat with Grandma. Zhao Yin couldn't help but speak up. Although she was tired, she didn't mind if others helped her. However, she knew that Liang Jinyu was usually more capable than her. How about you let her help? When old Madame Liang heard Zhao Yun'er's words, she waved her hand at Liang Jinyu. Yun'er girl is right. You don't have to toss around anymore. Rest in front of Mother and accompany Mother to talk a few more words. I left in such a hurry yesterday that I didn't have time to say anything. Liang Jinyu thought for a moment, nodded, and walked towards old Madame Liang. Old Madame Liang saw that her two daughters-in-law, as well as Liang Jinfin, were not eating. Although there were many tables that needed to be cleaned, they were sitting together with their legs crossed and drinking tea leisurely. Chapter 1781. That's right. You should eat some vegetables occasionally. It's not good for your intestines to eat too much greasy food. However, Yun'er's cooking is really good. It's really delicious. Eldest younger sister is really blessed. Blue sky. She can eat Yun'er's cooking every day. This kind of blessing isn't something that everyone can enjoy. There are many people like eldest younger sister's family. Not to mention anything else, just how many people can meet a man like Shi Ziyi? It's simply like smoke rising from our ancestors' graves. Didn't eldest younger sister's family say that after they build a grave for their ancestors, their family's luck gradually improved? It's only because of the old ancestors' blessing. So it's like that. I knew it. How could there be such good luck? Why didn't this good thing fall on other people's heads? It just had to fall on eldest younger sister's head. So it's because of the old ancestors' blessing. That makes sense. As the few of them discussed, they turned to old Madame Liang and started discussing with her. Mother, since eldest younger sister's family built a grave and their luck improved a lot, should our family also build a grave? Father's grave has been there for many years, and we haven't renovated it. Liang Jinhui said. Wu Zhenju followed behind and said, Even I think that Yun'er's father's words make sense. If father can bless us, perhaps our Yun'er can be like Yun'er and find Shi Ziyi. He's such a rich man with status. After Wu Zhenju finished speaking, he began to look forward to it. If her family could be like Zhao Yun'er's, wouldn't she be able to eat and drink well in the future? After hearing Wu Zhenju's words, Guo Caixiao rolled her eyes in her heart. Her second sister-in-law only knew how to have wishful thinking. Did she really think that she could find a good husband like Liang Xinyue and Zhao Yun'er? Such good luck was probably 1 in a million. Old Madame Liang snorted and said without giving any face, You were unfilial when you were alive, and now you're dead. Do you think that building a grave will bless you? It's better to work hard and earn more money. It's more practical. The corner of Liang Jinhui's mouth twitched when he heard old Madame Liang's retort. Although he knew that old Madame Liang was telling the truth, he still replied unwillingly, Mother, we are father's children. How can we not bless our own children? What's the use of working hard these days? You can only earn as much as you need to. His eldest sister's family used to be very diligent, but they were very poor. I was just waiting for your luck to improve. That's how I earned quite a bit of money. Take a look at Xiao Mei. Who else works harder than her? But she is the one who lives the poorest. Liang Jinyu lowered her head in embarrassment after being pointed out. Her siblings liked to complain about her family's poverty, but she couldn't do anything about it. Whether they were rich or poor was not something she could decide. She naturally hoped that her family could live a better life and let her children live a better life. Seeing the disappointment in Liang Jinyu's eyes, old Madame Liang said to Liang Jinhui in annoyance, All right. You only know how to talk nonsense. You people are always thinking about nonsense. Yu is living a hard life now, but she's willing to work hard. Who knows? She might live better than you in the future. Life is full of ups and downs. Who can say for sure what will happen? Liang Jinhui finally shut his mouth resentfully. Chapter 1782. Liang Jinshan stood up lazily. As he stretched, he mumbled, I'm too full. It's uncomfortable to sit. It's better to get up and walk around. Guo Caixia chimed in. Yes, it's uncomfortable to just sit. It's better to get up and walk around. Liang Jinfen also chimed in. No, I'm too full. It's hard for me to digest all of this. It's been a long time since I've eaten so much. When old Madame Liang saw their expressions, she became angry. They couldn't even do their work properly. When they were eating, they fought so hard for the dishes on the plates. Now that they were full, they were pretending to be obedient. Old Madame Liang looked at the busy Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Yun. She said to Liang Jinfen, Since you're uncomfortable sitting and your stomach is so full, why don't you help your elder sister? Can't you see that she's busy? Your younger sister knows how to help, but you're just sitting there and not moving. Old Madame Liang's words were not only for Liang Jinfen, but also for her two daughters-in-law. She couldn't say it directly to her two daughters-in-law, so she pointed at Liang Jinfen and hinted for her two daughters-in-law to help out. Liang Jinfen was instantly displeased. He pursed his lips and muttered, Mother, I'm here to eat, so I'm a guest. Which host would ask their guest to help out? Old Madame Liang said angrily, You really think of yourself as a guest. Even if you're a guest, she's still your elder sister. If you can help, you should help. According to what you said, your younger sister is also a guest. How would she know how to help out? To put it bluntly, she's just lazy. Liang Jinfen blushed and complained, Mother, how can you say that? How can I say that? Am I not telling the truth? Mother, old Madame Liang sighed and said to her two daughters-in-law, As relatives, we should help each other. Look at how busy your elder sister is. Why are all of you just sitting there? Only then did the two daughters-in-law realize that old Madame Liang was hinting for them to help Zhao Yun'er's family. Guo Caixia smiled awkwardly and explained, Mom, it's because we ate too much for lunch. Our stomachs are so bloated that it's inconvenient for us to walk around, but we can't do our work properly. If I go to help eldest sister's family now, I might not be able to help, but instead make things even messier. Old Madame Liang snorted softly. She naturally knew that this was just an excuse from her eldest daughter-in-law. It was rare for Wu Zhenju to stand on the same side as Guo Caixia. He said to old Madame Liang, That's right, Mother. We're all full from eating. How can we still have the strength to help eldest sister's family? It's not like we don't want to help. As soon as Wu Zhenju finished speaking, Liang Xinyue pulled Wu Zhenju and whispered something in Wu Zhenju's ear. Wu Zhenju immediately changed his mind and said to old Madame Liang with a smile, Mother, you're right. We're relatives. As a family, we should help each other. How can we be so distant? I'll go help eldest sister's family now. Wu Zhenju's sudden change in attitude made old Madame Liang somewhat puzzled. What medicine did her second daughter-in-law sell in her throat? Did she really become diligent? What did Liang Xinyue say to Wu Zhenju's ear just now? Chapter 1783. When Wu Zhenju saw old Madame Liang and Guo Caixia's reactions, he twitched the corners of his mouth and felt a little guilty. He was afraid that old Madame Liang and Guo Saishao would see through him. So he quickly turned around and ran in the direction of Liang Jinxiao. When he ran in front of Liang Jinxiao, he politely said to Liang Jinxiao, "Eldest sister, I have nothing to do here, so I'll help you clean up." Liang Jinxiao was stunned and looked at Wu Jinju suspiciously. If these words came from someone else's mouth, she would feel that it was normal. However, when it came from Wu Jinju's mouth, she felt that something was wrong. Her second sister-in-law had never been so enthusiastic. Today was the first time. "What's wrong, eldest sister?" Wu Jinju blinked and asked Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao came back to her senses and quickly waved her hand. She said to Wu Jinju, "No need, second sister-in-law. You go and rest. I can handle it. It's so dirty and tiring. How can I let you dry it with your hands? What if your clothes get dirty?" Wu Jinju gave a fake smile and grabbed the wooden basin from Liang Jinxiao's hand. He minded his own business and cleaned it up. "Oh, eldest sister, what's our relationship? Why are you being so polite with me?" Yang Jinxiao saw this and knew that she couldn't refuse Wu Jinju's help. She thought about it and sighed. Since Wu Jinju really wanted to help, then let him be. If she refused too much, it would make the relationship between the two families seem too distant. Zhao Yun noticed the movement on Wu Jinju's side and was also puzzled. Her second aunt was probably scheming something in her heart. However, she would deal with whatever came her way. This Wu Jinju better hope that he didn't have any bad intentions. Otherwise, with her around, he wouldn't be able to get any benefits. After all, Zhao Yun wasn't easy to deal with. It took a long time for the family to clean up the table. Zhao Yun'er didn't throw away the leftovers. Instead, she collected them and gave them to the chickens at home. She didn't have to feed the chickens. Zhao Wenhua and Zhao Tianan returned the clean table to the owner's house. These tables and chairs were all borrowed, so it was best to return them as soon as possible. The bowls and chopsticks had to be cleaned up, but the water in the water tank at home had been used up. Mu Lianfeng took 2 buckets and went to the river to fetch more water. Liang Xinyue looked in the direction where Mu Lianfeng left and followed him eagerly. She didn't have a chance to be alone with the heir apparent. This time, she had to make good use of it. Wu Jinju was so tired that he was panting. He was already full and tired from working. Now he had to clean up so many bowls and chopsticks at once. He had to wipe the table with all his might. It was a physical task. Wu Jinju walked in front of Liang Jinxiao fawningly. He wiped the sweat on his forehead and massaged his waist. He smiled and said, "I'm finally done." Liang Jinxiao thanked him. "Second sister-in-law, thank you for your hard work." Wu Jinju hurriedly waved his hand and said, It's not hard, it's not hard. There's no need to be so polite between us." Liang Xinxiao smiled. She wasn't used to Wu Jinju's sudden attitude towards her. She felt that something was wrong. The bowls and chopsticks were placed in a basin. Some of them had already been washed. The rest would be washed when Mu Lianfeng came back with the water. Li Chueying squatted on the ground and washed the dishes alone. Zhao Yun'er sighed. The change in Li Chueying's personality was slowly being accepted and liked. Chapter 1784. Zhao Yun'er's brows slightly furrowed. Seeing Wu Jinju's attitude, she knew that it wasn't anything good. Sure enough, Wu Jinju smiled and shamelessly said, "Yun'er, lass, can I discuss something with you?" Zhao Yun'er raised her brows, but didn't say anything. Discussing something with her definitely wasn't something good. Zhao Yun'er ignored him, making Wu Jinju feel very awkward. Zhao Yun'er ignored him, but he could not say anything, so he continued to shamelessly say, "Yun'er, lass, didn't you see His Majesty send you so many things yesterday? I saw that there were dozens of bolts of silk and satin. You definitely won't be able to wear them all by yourself. Why don't you give one to my Yuer, lass, and let Yuer make a set of beautiful clothes? You also know that Yuer is about to have a husband at this age, so she should have a set of good clothes to support her face, right?" Zhao Yun'er finally understood that Wu Zhanju was so diligent in helping out because he had his eyes on her family's silk and satin. However, this Wu Zhanju's words really didn't have the slightest bit of standard, so others who heard it were very displeased. What did he mean by her family's dozens of bolts of silk and satin couldn't be worn all by herself? So that was the reason she had to give them to others. Could it be that she had to be grateful that someone was helping her wear them? What kind of logic was this? The silk and satin bestowed by His Majesty weren't cheap. Zhao Yun'er estimated that a bolt of silk and satin would cost dozens of taels of silver. It was fine to give this kind of good stuff to people close to her, but she felt that it was a waste to give it to the Liang family. After all, these people didn't have a conscience. They wouldn't be grateful even if she gave it to them, and would greedily ask for more the next time. Zhao Yun'er sneered and replied, "Second maternal aunt has a good idea. After all, these silk and satin were bestowed by His Majesty, so how could I dare to casually give it to others? Besides, even if I can't wear all of these silks and satins by myself, I can easily sell them for hundreds of taels of silver." Wu Jinju's mouth twitched. She knew that Zhao Yun'er's words meant that she was reluctant to give you heir to her family. She continued to grumble unwillingly. "Hey Yun'er, I know these silks and satins are precious, but you have so many of them. You're Yuer's cousin. What's wrong with giving her one bolt?" Zhao Yun'er sneered and said, "According to second maternal aunt, I can't be biased. After giving cousin Yuer, I have to give cousin Zir and cousin Lai Di. Since his cousins had given him gifts, he couldn't give her anything less, right? Who knows how many horses we'll have to send out." When Wu Jinju heard Zhao Yun'er's words, he was somewhat displeased. If she didn't want to give them, then just don't give them. Why did she have to come up with so many excuses? Isn't it because other people didn't want them, but I took the initiative to ask for them? Wu Jinju muttered in a low voice. "Second maternal aunt, do you think that if I give them today, they won't come and ask me for them after they find out?" Zhao Yun'er asked in return. Wu Jinju's face darkened. "Yun'er, do you have to be so stingy as a person? To think that I helped your family clean up the table just now?" Zhao Yun'er rolled her eyes. She shouldn't have let Wu Jinju do the work just now. As expected, he was taking credit for this matter. Zhao Yun'er's eyes turned, and a scheme emerged in her mind. She wanted to see a dog-eat-dog scene. Chapter 1785. Upon hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, Wu Jinju immediately came over. She blinked her eyes and asked, "Yun'er girl, is that true?" Zhao Yun'er had a calculating smile on her face. "Of course it's true. However, I can only take out one bolt. Other than second aunt, if you want it, I think eldest aunt and second aunt would definitely want it as well. Why don't you go and discuss it with them? You can decide who gets the bolt of silk." Upon hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, the smile on Wu Jinju's face froze. She thought that Zhao Yun'er would be willing to give it to her. She didn't expect that Zhao Yun'er would ask her to discuss it with the other two people. How could Wu Jinju not know what Saixia and Liang Jinfen? How could these two not fight for something good when it came to them? The possibility of them getting this batch of silk was very low. Zhao Yun'er had a faintly discernible smile on her face. Upon seeing Wu Jinju's reaction, Zhao Yun'er said indifferently, "Second aunt, you don't want it anymore? Then forget it. I'll go talk to eldest aunt and second aunt and let them discuss among themselves and decide who should take it." Upon hearing this, Wu Jinju immediately became anxious. How could she give up like this and let what Saixia and Liang Jinfen get the benefits? Even if the chances of her getting it were low, she still had a chance to get it. If she didn't fight for it, she would be giving it away for no reason. It was Zhao Yun'er who said that it was something bestowed by the emperor. A bolt of silk was worth a few hundred taels of silver. It would be a pity to give it up so casually. Wu Jinju hurriedly said to Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er girl, of course I want it. Then take out a bolt. I'll discuss it with your eldest aunt and second aunt." Zhao Yun'er smiled, and there was a hint of playfulness in her eyes. Zhao Yun'er went and took out a batch of silk and satin from the room. She picked out a batch that she didn't like and took it out. Even so, this silk was a rare treasure in the eyes of the villagers. When Guocaixia and Liang Jinfen heard them discussing who should take the silk, they refused to give in and started arguing. Wu Jinju said, "I was the one who asked Yun'er for a bolt of silk cloth first. Since Yun'er can only take out one bolt, I think the leather silk cloth should belong to me." Liang Jinfen's face darkened. He stared at the silk cloth in Zhao Yun'er's hands with a hint of greed in his eyes. He started arguing with Wu Zhanju, second sister-in-law. You can't say it like that. No matter who asked Yun'er for it first, since Yun'er took it out for us to discuss, then we all have a chance. Otherwise, we wouldn't have just given it to you. What's the point of discussing? Although Liang Jinfin's words were vulgar, his attitude was very unyielding. He was determined to fight for it. Guo Saixia snorted. That's right, second sister. Your words don't make any sense. If there's no one to give it to, then we have to discuss it together. Wu Zhenju's mouth twitched. He thought for a while and said, I think this silk cloth should be given to me. If my Yuer wants to marry into a family, she must dress decently. Only then can she find a rich family. Eldest sister-in-law, your Zier is not handsome. It's a waste for her to wear it. She can't find a rich family like my Yuer. Wu Zhenju's words made Guo Saixia very uncomfortable. Her second sister-in-law was clearly saying that her Zier was not as good as Liang Xinyue. As a mother, how could she tolerate her daughter being slandered and looked down upon? Chapter 1786. The last thing Wu Zhenju wanted to hear was Guo Saixia's words. He replied unhappily, Yuer's marriage is only known to the people in her own village. How would they know if she went to another village or town to find husband? Guo Saixia snorted and exposed Wu Zhenju without giving him any face. Second sister-in-law, don't tell me you're treating people as fools? If a rich family wants to marry you, shouldn't they ask around first? How can they just casually marry someone? Liang Jinfen agreed. That's right. Eldest sister-in-law is right. Rich people are all shrewd. Marriage is not something that can be casually decided. Guo Saixia continued. Second sister-in-law, to put it bluntly, it's hard for a woman whose marriage has been annulled to find a good family. If the woman's background is average, she probably won't be able to get married for the rest of her life. Yuer's looks are not bad. She might be able to find a good family and marry an honest man. If you want to find a rich family, I think you should forget about it. How can Yuer get such a good thing? Liang Jinfen also chuckled and said, How can there be so many rich families? I think second sister-in-law is just daydreaming. If we're talking about marrying into a good family, my little brother's chances are higher. After all, my little brother's looks are not bad. He's not inferior to Yuer's. If he dresses up well, he might be able to catch the eye of a rich family. Guo Saixia also chimed in. I think my little Zier's not bad either. She looks very good in Yun'er's dress. In this day and age, clothes make the man, and Buddha makes the man. If he dresses up well, he won't look bad. When Wu Zhenju heard this, he was so angry that smoke almost came out of his nostrils. These two cheese actually dared to say that his Yuer wouldn't be able to find a rich family. Since he could find it once, he could find it a second time. She didn't believe that Xuan wouldn't be able to find a good husband with her daughter's good looks. Sister-in-law, Zier, is getting on in years. If she could find him, she would have found him long ago. Why would she wait until now? It's not easy for a girl of her age to find a husband. In my opinion, it would be good if she could find an ordinary husband. After Wu Zhenju finished scolding Guo Saixia, he turned to Liang Jinfen and said to Liang Jinfen, And second sister, if I remember correctly, your family can only give birth to daughters. You see, she only gave birth to 2 daughters in her entire life. She didn't even give birth to a son. I heard that you married the eldest daughter in town and gave birth to a daughter. Now, you're not liked by your in-laws. Who knows when your in-laws will divorce you? Your second daughter and first daughter are probably the same as you. They can only give birth to daughters and not sons. This was called heredity. Tell me, which rich man would be willing to marry a woman who can't even give birth to a son? So second sister, you should stop dreaming. Although my little brother's daughter is beautiful, it's useless if she can't give birth to a son. Being unable to give birth to a son in the countryside was indeed a matter of ridicule and disdain in the world. Liang Jinfen had been mocked and ridiculed by many people in her lifetime because she couldn't give birth to a son. Initially, she had been counting on Su Zhaodi, who knew that Su Zhaodi would also give birth to a good-for-nothing. Chapter 1787. Seeing Su Xiaoti's pale and weak face. As a mother, she naturally felt distressed. Even if she felt distressed, there was nothing she could do. Who told Su Xiaoti to give birth to a money-losing child? If she could give birth to a son, the Huang family's attitude would naturally not be like this. And even if she felt distressed for Su Xiaoti, she could not bring her daughter back. A married daughter was like spilled water. How could she casually return to her maternal home? Her son was still in the Su family, and the family's money was in the hands of her parents-in-law. If she wanted to bring her daughter back, her parents-in-law would have to agree. Obviously, with old Madame Su's father's temperament, they would definitely not agree to let Su Xiaoti come back. The Su family relied on their reputation. If the villagers knew that Su Xiaoti came back to her maternal home because she was not liked by her husband's family, they would probably gossip and ridicule her behind her back. Su Xiaoti also cried and complained to her that her husband's family had said that if she did not give birth to a son in the next child, her husband would divorce her and marry another woman. Since she could not give birth to a son, there would always be a woman who could help the Huang family. Thinking of this, Su Xiaoti somewhat collapsed. She was really worried that if she could not give birth to a son in the next child, she would really be divorced by the imperial family. When that time came, she did not know how many people would laugh at her. After all, when she got married, she was very proud. If she was shamed, she would only be laughed at even more miserably. There was a saying that the higher you stand, the more painful it is to fall. Su Xiaoti felt that she could not bear the consequences of being divorced. Perhaps she would take it too hard and commit suicide. Liang Jinfen was very distressed when he heard this. He was also worried about Su Xiaoti's fate after being divorced. At that time, she would be even more ashamed to see people. Now that her daughter married a good husband's family, she had something to show off in front of others. If her daughter was divorced by her husband's family, how could she raise her head? However, having children was not something that they could control at a young age. If she could give birth to a son, she would have done so long ago. If she had a son, she would not be poked behind her back like she was now. Therefore, when Liang Jinfen heard Wu Xinju's words, he was very angry. It was one thing to know it in one's heart, but it was another thing to be mocked by others. Liang Jinfen said angrily to Wu Xinju, second sister-in-law, "How can you say that?" Wu Xinju was not a pushover either. How could he be afraid of Liang Jinfen? He sneered and replied, "What did I say? I'm just telling the truth. I'm not wrong." You. Liang Jinfen gritted his teeth in anger. He almost couldn't hold himself back from going up to Wu Xinju. Guo Caixia also glared at Wu Xinju with displeasure. How dare he say that her Zer was old and that it was not appropriate to criticize her in-laws? How could he say that she was old? Don't you think I'm 17 or 18? Aren't there many girls of this age in the countryside who are married? To put it bluntly, he just couldn't bear to see her Zer doing well. He always felt that if his daughter could marry a good husband's family, others could not. Second sister-in-law, even if my Zer is a little older, she is still better off than you are. Which rich family would be willing to accept second-hand goods these days? Eldest sister-in-law, what do you mean? How is my a second-hand good? Chapter 1788. Wu Xinju's face flushed red when he heard Guo Caixia's words. How did this wretched woman find out about this? Did she see it with her own eyes? Judging from Guo Caixia's expression, he knew that she knew about this. However, Wu Xinju knew that his daughter and the man had indeed been intimate with each other. However, the man had made the first move, and Liang Xinyue could not reject him. She was afraid that if she rejected him, the man would get angry and cancel the engagement. Moreover, the two of them were about to get married. Since the engagement was already set, it was normal for them to be intimate with each other. Who would have known that the engagement would be canceled? Sister-in-law, what are you talking about? Don't you know that this kind of gossip will have a great impact on our Yuer? Wu Xinju reprimanded Guo Caixia unhappily. Guo Caixia was not convinced. I'm telling the truth. I'm not talking nonsense. If you have the guts to do it, why don't you tell others? With Zhao Yun'er as a witness, she successfully witnessed the scene of the three women fighting over a piece of silk. Each of them was very sharp and sarcastic, saying that the other party's daughter did not have the right to wear the silk in Zhao Yun'er's hands. In the end, the three women did not give in and started a fight with each other. After the fight was over, everyone was covered in wounds. Their injuries were not light. Seeing this scene, Zhao Yun'er could not help but secretly feel happy. This was really interesting. Through this incident, she also witnessed the selfishness and greed of human nature. If any of the three of them were to let go, one of them would naturally be able to get the silk. However, these three people were all selfish and did not give in, afraid that the other party would benefit. Seeing that the three of them were fighting fiercely, Zhao Yun'er's eldest uncle, second uncle, and Liang Jinxiao hurriedly tried to stop the fight. After a long while, they finally managed to pull the three women apart. It was undeniable that when women were angry, they were really fierce. Even the man who was trying to stop the fight accidentally got injured on his face. The three of them were bruised and swollen. When they finally separated, they were still cursing at each other. Old Madame Liang rubbed her aching forehead. She felt that the three of them were crazy. Shut up, all of you. Old Madame Liang scolded unhappily. The three women acted as if they hadn't heard anything. They continued to curse and almost started fighting again. Old Madame Liang was so angry that she clutched her chest and couldn't stop muttering, "Rebel, rebel, all of you are rebelling." You can't even listen to this old woman's words. Eldest sister-in-law, second sister-in-law, second sister, stop quarreling. Mother is uncomfortable because of you. Liang Jinxiao frowned and said hurriedly. Only then did the three of them listen. Their gazes fell on old Madame Liang. Old Madame Liang snorted unhappily and said, "Look at all of you. You're fighting over a piece of silk. If this gets out, people will laugh at us. How can a family fight so fiercely?" Wu Zhenju could not help but complain. "Mother, isn't it because eldest sister-in-law and second sister insisted on fighting with me? If they had just given up the silk to me, how could they have made a fuss?" Liang Jinfen retorted unhappily, "Second sister-in-law, what you said is wrong. Why should eldest sister-in-law and I give up the silk to you? Who do you think you are? Why should we give in to you?" Chapter 1789. Old Madame Liang was afraid that the three of them would quarrel again, so she hurriedly said, all right, stop quarreling. I see that none of you are giving in, so it's better if none of you take it. Is it worth it to hurt your harmony over a bolt of silk?" The moment old Madame Liang said this, the three of them immediately disagreed. "Mother, that won't do. Mother, I still want to use this silk to make clothes for my wearer. Without the silk, where can I find clothes for my wearer to wear? Mother, my Zir also needs to wear a good pair of clothes." It's second sister-in-law who said that it's easier to find a good husband if she wears it well. Old Madame Liang snorted lightly. Just now, they were still quarreling, but now they were united in trying to persuade her. She was very clear about the thoughts of her two daughters-in-law and daughter. To put it bluntly, they liked to take advantage of others. How could they casually give up when they saw benefits that were so easy to obtain? The problem is that none of you are giving in to the other. It's better to stop quarreling. Otherwise, you'll end up fighting again. "Mother, don't say any more." Old Madame Liang snorted coldly, then said to Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er, listen to grandmother for once. Don't take out this batch of silk for them. Look at how they're fighting. I think that if they continue to fight, they'll stab each other with a knife." Zhao Yun'er put on an awkward expression. "Grandmother, this isn't good. I promise to take out a bolt. If I take it back, second aunt will say that I'm stingy." Old Madame Liang said with a cold face, "She dares to say a word to you? Does she really think that this old woman is dead? Does her words not matter now?" Zhao Yun'er hesitated for a moment, then finally nodded and said hypocritically, "Ah, grandmother is right. I also think that it's better not to take out this piece of silk. I originally wanted eldest aunt, or second aunt to take it. Who knew that such a thing would happen? If I had known that they would fight, I wouldn't have gotten involved in this matter." Old Madame Liang took Zhao Yun'er's hand and said earnestly, Yunner girl, this isn't your fault. The things that the emperor bestowed are very precious. It's already very rare that you are willing to take out a batch of silk and satin. It's the three of them who want to fight for it. What can you do if Dada intervenes? Zhao Yunner sighed and said, Yes, Grandma. They were all relatives, and it was not worth it to fight over such a small thing. In order not to hurt our relationship, I'll take it back. Yes. Old Madame Liang nodded in response. Zhao Yunner hugged the satin and turned around to enter the room. Her eyes flashed with the pleasure of having succeeded in her scheme. She had come up with this scheme because she had expected that these people would be selfish and would not give in to each other. Actually, if these people had a bit of brains, they would have discussed it nicely and decided to sell this batch of silk and satin and divide the money among them. Everyone would get a lot of money on average. However, these people just wanted to swallow everything for themselves. In the end, they realized that all three of them were defeated and injured, and no one would get any benefits. Liang Jinfen, Wu Zhenju, and Guo Caishiao were all stunned. They watched as Zhao Yunner hugged the satin and entered the room. It would probably be impossible to get Zhao Yunner to take it out again. Chapter 1790. Liang Jinfen and Guo Caishiao were equally uncomfortable. Who wouldn't want such a valuable item? How could they just give it to someone else? They weren't fools. The three of them complained in their hearts. They didn't like each other at all. Zhao Yunner put the items back in house and came out. She was in a good mood when she saw the three of them. She didn't need to rely on her high IQ to deal with these stupid women. Old Madame Liang looked at the three of them and sighed in her heart. None of them were easy to deal with. They were always causing trouble. She felt annoyed just looking at them. After the three of them rested, they complained about the pain on their bodies. Ouch, my face is all scratched up. What if it leaves a scar? Wu Zhenju touched his face and looked resentfully at Liang Jinfen and Guo Caishiao. Guo Caishiao quickly replied, Sister-in-law, don't look at me like that. My fingernails aren't that long. How could they scratch your face like that? Guo Caishiao's meaning was self-evident. Wu Zhenju's face was scratched by Liang Jinfen. Wu Zhenju's resentful eyes fell on Liang Jinfen. Liang Jinfen pursed his lips unhappily and said, How can you blame me for this? Didn't I get a lot of scars too? As Liang Jinfen spoke, he raised his arm and showed it to Wu Zhenju. The injury on his arm was quite serious. If it wasn't treated properly, it might become inflamed. The three of them looked like they were about to start arguing again. Old Madame Liang glared at them. Haven't you said enough? No matter how serious your injuries are, you deserve it. Who else can you blame for attacking him? The three of them closed their mouths resentfully. They still felt uncomfortable. Wu Zhenju covered his face with his hand. His expression was desolate. He bit his lower lip and looked indignant. Liang Jinwei comforted her. All right. It won't leave a scar. Even if it does, it's fine. You're already so old, and you're already married to me. You're not a young lady anymore, and you're afraid that you won't be able to get married. Isn't it fine as long as I don't despise you? When Wu Zhenju heard Liang Jinhui's words, he was a little unhappy. What do you mean by it's fine even if I have a scar at my age? Don't tell me that I won't be able to meet people in the future. Are you the only one who can see it? If I go out, people will definitely laugh at me. I don't want it. Liang Jinhui couldn't understand why a woman valued beauty so much. Even though she was old, she would still care about her appearance. She wouldn't just make do with it casually. Okay. Don't be angry. You're right. Let's go back to town and get some ointment. It shouldn't leave a scar. I heard that there's a doctor in town who makes good ointment. Although it's a little expensive, the effect is good. Although Wu Zhenju was reluctant to spend money, he thought about his face. He felt that he had to buy it back no matter what. As long as it didn't leave a scar, everything else was negotiable. After this side returned to silence, Liang Xinyue followed Mu Lianfeng to the riverside. Liang Xinyue looked at Mu Lianfeng's tall back. Her heart was filled with admiration. This high-quality man looked different from the rest. He was extraordinary. Even his back was better looking than the rough men in the mountains. If she could be with such a man, how happy would it be? Mu Lianfeng didn't notice that a woman was following behind him. When they reached the riverside, she heard someone call out to her softly. Chapter 1791. Mu Yinfeng frowned and turned his head to see Liang Xinyue standing behind him. As Zhao Yun'er's cousin, Liang Xinyue had been staying at Zhao Yun'er's house for the past 2 days, so Mu Yinfeng naturally recognized her. Due to their relationship as relatives, Mu Yinfeng replied indifferently, "What's the matter?" Liang Xinyue shook her head and stared at Mu Yinfeng with infatuation. Mu Yinfeng frowned in disgust. Liang Xinyue's gaze made him feel very uncomfortable. If you have something to say, just say it. If there's nothing else, then forget it. Mu Yinfeng turned his head away and ignored Liang Xinyue. He wasn't a fool. How could he not see that Liang Xinyue was interested in him? However, he had no interest in Liang Xinyue at all. It wasn't just because he didn't like women like Liang Xinyue. Most importantly, he already had Zhao Yun'er, so he wouldn't consider other women. No matter how outstanding other women were, he wouldn't take another look at them. This was even more true for Liang Xinyue. Liang Xinyue felt a sense of loss when she saw Mu Yinfeng's cold attitude toward her. She felt very uncomfortable. Why wasn't Master Shitzi willing to take another look at her? If they were at Zhao Yun'er's house, then it would be fine. After all, Zhao Yun'er was there, so Mu Yinfeng couldn't be too obvious. However, now that Zhao Yun'er wasn't there, couldn't Master Shitzi be a little more enthusiastic? Liang Xinyue bit her lower lip, and her eyes were filled with unwillingness. She continued to speak coquettishly to Mu Yinfeng. "Master Shitzi, how can someone of your status do such menial work? Cousin is really... she doesn't know how to care for you. If I were her, I definitely wouldn't let you do such work." After Liang Xinyue finished speaking, she looked at Mu Yinfeng affectionately. How could Mu Yinfeng not understand the meaning behind Liang Xinyue's words? Was she trying to sow discord between him and Zhao Yun'er? This woman was a little interesting. However, how could he allow others to sow discord between him and Yun'er? He was the one who did this work, and it wasn't Yun'er who asked him to do it. Whether Yun'er cared about him or not, he was very clear. Thus, he said unhappily to Liang Xinyue, "This is my business. I'm willing to do it, and it has nothing to do with Yun'er. Master Shitzi, I'm just saying, you're very tired from carrying the water. Do you want me to help you?" Liang Xinyue winked at Mu Yinfeng in a negotiating manner. Mu Yinfeng rejected her directly. No need. After seeing Mu Yinfeng's attitude, Liang Xinyue knew that it would not be easy for her to get close to Mu Yinfeng. She felt even more disappointed. Liang Xinyue could not understand. Shouldn't men be very fickle? As long as a woman was shameless enough to seduce him, she would definitely fall for it. However, Mu Yinfeng did not fall for it. He was indeed different from other men. Or was Mu Yinfeng too loyal to Zhao Yun'er? She did not believe. What was so good about Zhao Yun'er? She was not as good as her. Perhaps she was not proactive enough, so Mu Yinfeng was indifferent. Liang Xinyue's eyes darted around, and she quickly grabbed the bucket in Mu Yinfeng's hand. Seeing that Liang Xinyue was about to snatch the bucket, Mu Yinfeng quickly pushed Liang Xinyue away. He did not know what Liang Xinyue's intentions were. With Mu Yinfeng's push, Liang Xinyue sat on the ground and cried out, "Io, Io." Mu Yinfeng glanced at Liang Xinyue indifferently. He did not know what Liang Xinyue was up to. Chapter 1792. You sprained your ankle? Mu Yinfeng was suspicious and did not immediately believe Liang Xinyue's words. He had a feeling that this woman was up to something. Liang Xinyue looked at Mu Yinfeng pitifully and continued to say to Mu Yinfeng, "Sir, I really sprained my ankle. It hurts so much. Can you come over and help me?" Mu Yinfeng replied indifferently, "You asked for it. Who else can you blame?" His attitude was very clear. He did not want to talk to her. This could not go on. Mu Yinfeng did not seem like a man who could be seduced so easily. However, Liang Xinyue was not willing to give up just like that. She continued to act coquettishly. "Sir, I don't have any other choice. I'm already injured. What else can I do? Are you just going to let me sit here and do nothing? Aren't you going to help me?" Mu Yinfeng snorted softly. "After I'm done carrying the water, I'll go back and tell your family to come and pick you up." Liang Xinyue opened her mouth. Mu Lianfeng's rejection was too direct. He did not even give her a chance. After Mu Lianfeng finished speaking, his gaze shifted away from Liang Xinyue. He held the bucket in his hand and carried the water. Liang Xinyue saw that Mu Lianfeng was really going to leave her here alone. Actually, her ankle was fine. She had deliberately said that she was injured because she wanted to gain Mu Lianfeng's sympathy and get closer to Mu Lianfeng. Who knew that Mu Lianfeng would be like this? Her plan was completely ruined. Now, Mu Lianfeng was really going to leave and not care about her. He was really going to abandon her just like that. Liang Xinyue was suddenly anxious. She felt that she had to be more thick-skinned this time, so she rushed directly to Mu Lianfeng and hugged Mu Lianfeng from behind. After that, she mustered up her courage and confessed to Mu Lianfeng, "Your Highness, I quite like you. I wonder if Your Highness can give me a chance to get to know you better?" Mu Lianfeng was slightly stunned. He never thought that Liang Xinyue would be so bold as to come over and hug him. This woman relied on his tolerance and became more and more unscrupulous towards him. The sense of disgust in his heart grew stronger. Even though Liang Xinyue was Zhao Yun'er's cousin, she didn't hold back this time and kicked her out. Then a splash was heard. It was the sound of someone falling into the water. The person who had fallen into the water was Liang Xinyue, who had been blown out by Mu Lianfeng. Liang Xinyue didn't know how to swim. After falling into the water, she struggled in the water and even shouted, "Help! Help!" Mu Lianfeng subconsciously felt that Liang Xinyue must be faking it this time, so he ignored Liang Xinyue. However, Liang Xinyue continued to struggle in the water. Her entire face was ashen, and she looked like she was in extreme pain. If Liang Xinyue was faking it just now, he would believe it. Cola's ashen face from choking on water didn't look like it was faked. If this went on, someone might die. Although he hated Liang Xinyue, and this woman had the guts to covet him, he didn't want her to die. Mu Lianfeng pondered for a moment, then picked up a bamboo pole from the riverbank and handed it to Liang Xinyue. Then he started to sing. Liang Xinyue said indifferently, "Catch." Liang Xinyue hurriedly grabbed the bamboo pole. Mu Lianfeng then dragged Liang Xinyue to the riverbank. Only then did Liang Xinyue get up. Chapter 1793. She felt that if she had come ashore any later, she would have choked to death in the river. It felt so good to breathe in the fresh air now. Thinking about it, Mu Lianfeng was really ruthless. He didn't show any mercy and directly kicked her into the river. He didn't have any tender feelings for the fairer sex. Cough, cough, cough. Liang Xinyue coughed heavily a few times and looked pitifully at Mu Lianfeng. She originally thought that Mu Lianfeng would look at her one more time out of guilt. However, Liang Xinyue realized that she was thinking too much. Mu Lianfeng only glanced at her indifferently and then turned to leave with the water. "Sheet see," Liang Xinyue called out pitifully. Mu Lianfeng didn't respond at all and only showed his back. Was he going to leave her here alone and not care about her? How was she going to go back when she was all wet? "Sheet see." Liang Xinyue's voice was louder this time. Mu Lianfeng showed his determination with his back facing her. Seeing that Mu Lianfeng really didn't want to talk to her anymore, Liang Xinyue finally gave up. After soaking her clothes in the water, Liang Xinyue's entire body was wet. Her clothes stuck to her body, and a few private parts were faintly discernible. If someone saw this, they would definitely say something. At this time, Lu San happened to see Liang Xinyue sitting on the shore after falling into the water. After seeing Liang Xinyue's appearance and her faintly discernible figure, Lu San swallowed his saliva and then ran over to Liang Xinyue eagerly. "Ah, miss, did you accidentally fall into the water?" Lu San asked politely. Liang Xinyue bit her lower lip and responded with an aggrieved expression. "Ah, so pitiful. A girl like you has suffered so much." After hearing Lu San's words, Liang Xinyue felt even more wronged. Wasn't that right? How could she have known that Mu Lianfeng would be so cruel to her? She was a young lady and was weak to begin with. How could she withstand such torture? Seeing that Liang Xinyue was so wrong that she was about to cry, Lu San hurriedly comforted her. Okay, miss, don't cry. No matter what, it's all in the past now. It's okay. As long as you're fine, it doesn't matter, right? Liang Xinyue nodded in agreement. Lu San smiled and continued. Miss, do you want me to help you? Liang Xinyue thought for a moment and looked at Lu Sanchon. She was smiling so warmly, so she shouldn't be a bad person. After she had choked on the water, she felt that she couldn't muster up any strength after tossing and turning. If she had someone send her off, she would be able to go back earlier. Otherwise, she couldn't just sit here and do nothing, right? Although the weather was hot now, it was easy to catch a cold if she didn't go back and change her clothes. If she fell sick, it would be even more torturous. So she nodded. Thank you so much. Lu San hurriedly waved his hand. Oh, miss, you're too polite. I like to help others when they're in trouble. Liang Xinyue nodded and smiled at Lu San. Big brother, you're really a good person. Lu San's smile hid a hint of calculation. He was indeed a good person, but he would only be good to women, and the youngest and most beautiful women. Of course, he wouldn't tell Liang Xinyue the calculation in his heart. Chapter 1794. Lu San smiled mischievously, while Liang Xinyue responded gratefully. Well, that's why Big Brother is such a good person. Well, miss, let's not talk so much. I'll send you back quickly, Lu San urged. In fact, he couldn't wait to have fun. Liang Xinyue in front of him looked very beautiful and very young. The taste of playing with her would definitely be extraordinary. Okay, Liang Xinyue responded. Lu San supported Liang Xinyue. Although she was not used to being with other men, she had no choice but to let Lu San support her. The feeling of having a beauty in his arms was extraordinary. Lu San glanced at Liang Xinyue's delicate little face and couldn't help swallowing his saliva. Miss, you're not from our Shuelan village, are you? Lu San chatted enthusiastically. Liang Xinyue shook her head. No, I'm here to see my relatives. Lu San was delighted when he heard that. It was easier to make a move if they were not from the same village. Who are your relatives? Lu San asked casually. My cousin's name is Zhao Yun, and my uncle's name is Zhao Wenhua. Liang Xinyue replied. Hearing Zhao Yun, Lu San frowned. He was not afraid of other people in the village, but Lu San was a little afraid of Zhao Yun. After all, he had been defeated by Zhao Yun before, so he knew that Zhao Yun was not to be trifled with. Looking at Liang Xinyue in front of him again, Lu San was thinking about whether to make a move on Liang Xinyue. He was afraid that if he made a move on Liang Xinyue, Zhao Yun would make trouble for him again. At that time, there would be a lot of trouble. While he was thinking, he heard Liang Xinyue complaining, Hey, my cousin's powerful now, but her character is really not good. She thinks that because her family is rich, she doesn't like us poor relatives. She doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. How could such a person be so lucky? She even caught the eye of the Shitsi. Lu San listened quietly to Liang Xinyue's complaints. From Liang Xinyue's tone, he knew that Zhao Yun did not like her. Since this was the case, it was a good thing for him. If he said that he made a move on Liang Xinyue, Zhao Yun would definitely not care about this matter. He had nothing to be afraid of. At the same time, from Liang Xinyue's tone, Lu San could tell that Liang Xinyue was dissatisfied with Zhao Yun, as well as her admiration for Mu Lianfeng. He knew more about women and knew what kind of words they liked to hear. He smiled and comforted her. Miss, in fact, you look much more beautiful than Zhao Yun. The Shitsi has a problem with his taste. If I were the Shitsi, I would definitely like you and not Zhao Yun. Sure enough, after Lu San finished speaking, Liang Xinyue's heart immediately became happy. She smiled and said to Lu San, Your words are so nice. It's as if your mouth is smeared with honey. Lu San smiled embarrassedly. I'm just telling the truth. I don't mean to coax you. Liang Xinyue blinked her eyes. Really? Of course it's true. Liang Xinyue said with a smile. You have a good taste. Hey, if only the Shitsi could have your taste. You would definitely not like Zhao Yun but me. If the Shitsi could like her, she would become the Shitsi's wife in the future. Her status would be very noble. and she would be able to eat and drink well. Chapter 1795. Sigh. Everyone has their own fate, and it can't be helped that our fates are different. But you don't have to worry. With your looks, you'll definitely be able to find a good husband in the future. He might not necessarily be worse than Zhao Yun. Lu San comforted her. After hearing Lu San's words, Liang Xinyue's unhappiness suddenly dissipated a lot. Yes, you're right. I think so too. Liang Xinyue responded. The two of them continued walking. After walking for a while, they still hadn't reached Zhao Yun's house. Instead, they arrived at a forest. Liang Xinyue frowned and felt that something was wrong. She remembered that there wasn't much distance between Zhao Yun's house and the river, and the scenery didn't seem right. So she asked Lu San, who was beside her, "Big brother, did you lead us the wrong way? Why do I feel like something's wrong? This doesn't seem to be the way to my cousin's house, right?" Lu San smiled slyly again, patted his head, and said, "Oh, look at my memory. I remember the wrong way. Zhao Yun's family has moved to a new house now. This is the way to the old house, so I took you the wrong way." After listening to Lu San's explanation, Liang Xinyue finally understood. She nodded and said, Yes, that's good. Big brother, take me there now." Lu San responded, "Okay, don't worry, miss." Yes. The two of them continued walking. When they reached the depths of the forest and saw that there was no one around, Lu San couldn't wait to reach out and touch Liang Xinyue's butt. Along the way, his heart was burning. He couldn't wait to touch Liang Xinyue. However, this was not the right place. Once he touched Liang Xinyue, she might shout at the top of her lungs and run away. He had no choice but to control his temper and slowly lead Liang Xinyue into the woods. In this way, even if Liang Xinyue shouted loudly, no one would pass by. He could still manage the matter between him and Liang Xinyue. Liang Xinyue could only cry for help, but to no avail. She didn't expect Liang Xinyue to be so stupid. She was tricked into going to the woods with just a few words. Feeling her but being touched, Liang Xinyue's heart suddenly tightened. At first, she thought that Lu San was careless, but then she felt that Lu San's hands became more and more presumptuous, rubbing her but nonstop. What was worse was that Lu San directly hugged her and held her in his arms. His ugly face stretched out towards her. Liang Xinyue suddenly exclaimed, "What are you doing? Why are you touching me?" Lu San smiled wretchedly. "Little beauty, I've helped you walk so far. You said that I'm a good person. You should at least repay me, right? Seeing how handsome you are, Big Brother's heart is itching. Just help Big Brother and let Big Brother have some fun." Liang Xinyue finally understood what Lu San wanted to do. It turned out that he had this idea. She originally thought that Lu San was a good person. Now it seemed that Lu San was a hungry wolf. He was very fierce. From the moment he saw her and helped her, it was a trap. Now she was so pitiful that she was tricked into the woods by Lu San. No one could control her. She really regretted her actions. However, there was no use in regretting it now. She was trapped in Lu San's arms and couldn't break free at all. "You, let go of me, rogue." Chapter 1796. Looking at Lu San's face that was full of pockmarks, Liang Xinyue only felt the things in her stomach churning. It was extremely disgusting. If she was defiled by such an ugly man, she would rather die. "You, let me go." Liang Xinyue screamed and struggled in Lu San's arms. However, she had fallen into the water and choked badly. She didn't have much strength. Lu San was a man. How could she break free from Lu San? Liang Xinyue cried in despair. When Lu San's face continued to come closer, she spat on Lu San's face. "You disgusting man. Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself? You want to touch me? You're disgusting." Lu San wiped the saliva on his face, put it near his hand, and smelled it. He said with a look of enjoyment, "It's really fragrant." Liang Xinyue was disgusted by Lu San again. This man was a bit perverted. Lu San's heart was stirred. He couldn't wait to grab Liang Xinyue and press her on the ground. Then he began to help Liang Xinyue take off her clothes. After a while, Liang Xinyue's coat was taken off. Seeing that she couldn't get away, Liang Xinyue cried regretfully again. Go away, girl, don't struggle. No one here will come to save you. Why waste your strength? Let me have some fun. After I'm done, I'll let you go naturally. Liang Xinyue struggled a little, and Lu San continued to take off her clothes triumphantly. After taking off Liang Xinyue's pants, Lu San couldn't wait to enter her. Suddenly, a man came and scolded Lu San. What are you doing? How dare you do such a heinous thing in broad daylight? Lu San was stunned. He raised his head and glanced in the direction of the voice. Before he could react, he felt a kick land on him. Afterwards, Lu San was thrown heavily. He fell quite heavily and immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Afterwards, Lu San lay on the ground. He was unable to move at all. Lu San and Liang Xinyue, who were lying on the ground, looked at this person at the same time. This person was in his 20s and was dressed in black. He looked mighty and domineering. It was obvious that he was not someone to be trifled with. She was none other than Mo Yin. Mo Yin encountered such a situation as soon as she came down the mountain. She couldn't bear to see others do such dirty things, so she came up and sent Lu San flying with a kick. Mo Yin's face was still cold even after Lu San was dealt with. She walked up to Lu San and directly grabbed Lu San's collar. She said to Lu San coldly, "Let's go. I'll take you to see an official. I'll let the county magistrate chop off your hand." Lu San immediately paled in fright when he heard that he had to see an official. He begged Mo Yin, "Young master, please let me go. I was just lustful for a moment. I won't do it again." Mo Yin rolled her eyes as if she was thinking about Lu San's words. Lu San hurriedly swore, "I really won't do it again. Young master, please believe me. If I do such a thing again in the future, I will definitely be struck by lightning and die a horrible death." Mo Yin snorted coldly. "I can tell from your face that you're not a good person. Since you've done something like this, you should be punished. However, you've hurt this girl. She'll decide where you'll go." Chapter 1797. At this moment, Liang Xinyue sat on the ground. The fear on her face had yet to disperse. Her clothes were in a mess. Her thighs and other private areas were exposed to the air. Mo Yin had never seen something like this before. Her face immediately reddened, and she was rather afraid to look at Liang Xinyue. He understood what it meant to look at indecent things extremely well. Liang Xinyue seemed to return to her senses. She put on her clothes in a hurry, thinking about how, if Mo Yin had not intervened earlier, she probably would have been defiled by Lu San already. Liang Xinyue struggled to imagine the consequences. Her engagement had already been annulled in the first place. This was a shameful matter in the countryside, so it was extremely difficult for her to find a good husband. Now that her body had been defiled, it was basically impossible for her to find a good husband. Fortunately, Mo Yin had saved her, which was equivalent to saving her life. Liang Xinyue looked at Mo Yin gratefully. She could tell with a single glance that Mo Yin was not a simple person, whether it was in terms of appearance or attire. He probably had a good status, just like the young master. So she developed a sliver of admiration for Mo Yin. Although Mo Yin could not compare to the young master, he was still worlds apart compared to the rough men of the countryside. At the very least, he could be regarded as extraordinarily handsome. Just looking at him made people feel comfortable. Only after Liang Xinyue covered herself did Mo Yin turn around again. She said to Liang Xinyue, "Miss, this person tried to defile you, so you decide how to deal with him. What do you think we should do now?" Liang Xinyue glanced at Lu San. She ground her teeth in hatred towards Lu San. This man had almost caused her to lose her chastity. How could she let him go so easily? Just when Liang Xinyue made up her mind to report this to the authorities, Lu San looked around and persuaded her. "Miss, I was just lustful earlier. I can guarantee that I won't do it again. Please be magnanimous and let me go. If they really arrest me, it might not be a good thing for Miss. Young lady, think about it. Although I haven't really done anything to Annie, it's inevitable that there will be a lot of gossip. When the time comes, it will affect young ladies' reputation. I'm a man, so it's fine, but when a lady marries in the future, I'm afraid. It had to be said that Lu San was used to using women's psychology to successfully bully many people. When Liang Xinyue heard this, she felt that what Lu San said was indeed very reasonable. If Lu San was arrested and sent to the officials, although Lu San would be punished by the officials, she would also be implicated at the same time. For her now, how could there be any more rumors? If that happened, she might not be able to get married. She cannot bear the consequences. After hesitating for a while, she bit her lip and said to Mo Yin, "Young master, let's just forget about it." Although this person went a little overboard, it was fortunate that young master acted in time and didn't tame me. I'm still at a marriageable age. I don't want people to gossip about me. And Mo Yin thought about it and said to Liang Xinyue, "All right then. It's still up to Miss to make the decision. If Miss thinks it's fine, then it's fine." "All right," Liang Xinyue replied weakly. She could not help but glance at Mo Yin. Seeing how handsome and righteous Mo Yin was, she admired him even more. Chapter 1798. Lucen lay on the ground like a dog. He nodded in a hurry. Yes, yes, yes. I definitely won't do it again." "Then piss off." Mo Yin kicked Lu San's butt again. Lucen crawled forward in fright. He wanted to leave as soon as possible, afraid that Liang Xinyue and Mo Yin would go back on their words and send him to the authorities. Before Lu San left, Mo Yin suddenly said, "Wait." Lu San's heart suddenly tightened. He turned around bitterly and asked Mo Yin, "Is there anything else, young master? Don't tell anyone about this. If I find out that you spread any rumors, I'll skin you alive." Mo Yin said coldly, "Yes, yes, yes." Lu San clenched his buttocks tightly. "You can piss off now." Mo Yin urged in disgust. Liang Xinyue looked at Mo Yin rather infatuatedly as she watched Lu San flee in a hurry, completely devoid of his previous arrogance. As if she could sense Liang Xinyue's scorching gaze, Mo Yin felt uncomfortable. Clearing her throat, Mo Yin said to Liang Xinyue, "Miss, you have to be careful next time. There are many bad people in this world, so don't fall into their traps. Fortunately, I just happened to pass by today, or..." Liang Xinyue thanked her in a hurry. "Thank you for saving my life, young master. I'm unable to repay you." Mo Yin waved her hand. "I'm not asking you to thank me. I'm just giving you a reminder. Don't come to a place like this with a stranger, just in case they have thoughts about you." Liang Xinyue said in a hurry, "Yes, yes, I understand. Thank you for your reminder, young master. I definitely won't do it again." And Mo Yin replied, "Since there's nothing else, I'll be leaving first, until we meet again." Liang Xinyue immediately became rather reluctant to part with Mo Yin when she saw that she was about to leave. She had finally found an opportunity to hook up with a rich husband, so how could she give it up so easily? "Young master, may I know your name? You saved me, so I should at least know who young master is, right?" Liang Xinyue asked shyly. Mo Yin originally felt that there was no need to tell her, but when she saw how eager Liang Xinyue was, she said, "Mo Yin." Liang Xinyue repeated it in her heart and felt that it was very pleasant to hear. "I'm leaving," Mo Yin said again. Liang Xinyue immediately pretended to be pitiful and said, "Young master, I don't even know where I am right now. I'm not from this village, so I don't know the way. I wonder if young master can take me away?" Mo Yin studied Liang Xinyue, and only then did she understand. It was no wonder that Liang Xinyue had been tricked by Lu San. She probably did not know the way, nor did she know that Lu San was a bad person, which was why she had been brought here. "Young master, can you take me away? I'm afraid I'll come across some bad people along the way." Liang Xinyue bit her lip and looked at Mo Yin pleadingly. Mo Yin thought about it. Since she had saved Liang Xinyue, leaving Liang Xinyue here really was a little unreasonable. If Liang Xinyue encountered any danger, she would feel very guilty, so she nodded and asked casually, "May I ask where you're going? I'm not from this village, so I don't know the way very well." Chapter 1799. Mo Yin could not help but sigh inside when she heard Liang Xinyue say that she was Zhao Yuner's cousin. It looked like she had saved the right person. He might not have known about other people's families, but he did know about Zhao Yuner's family. He replied to Liang Xinyue, I know. I was just about to go. Really? Liang Xinyue blinked her eyes in some excitement. Yep. Although she was unable to guess the relationship between Mo Yin and Zhao Yuner, Liang Xinyue was still extremely excited. The two of them headed toward Zhao Yuner's home under Mo Yin's lead. They arrived at Zhao Yuner's home before long. Wu Zhenju hurried over when he saw Liang Xinyue return soaked. He asked nervously, Oh my Yuer, what happened to you? Did you fall into a ditch? Liang Xinyue glanced at Mu Lianfeng and answered pitifully. Yep, I fell into the river. I almost drowned. Wu Zhenju was so scared that her face turned pale. She patted her chest and reprimanded Liang Xinyue. I say, you wretched girl, why did you run to the river? Liang Xinyue only felt even more wronged. Wasn't she trying to get close to Mu Lianfeng? When her mother saw Mu Lianfeng and returned to the Liang family, she constantly urged her to find an opportunity to seduce Mu Lianfeng. Who would have thought that something like this would happen? She had almost lost her life. Liang Xinyue was originally rather unwilling to give up. She wanted to continue seducing Mu Lianfeng, but now that she had met Mo Yin, Liang Xinyue felt that Mo Yin was rather good. She felt that Mo Yin was not bad either. The chances of seducing Mo Yin were much higher than seducing Mu Lianfeng. She might as well change her target. Why did she have to do those impossible things? Mother, I don't want to do this either. Isn't this? Liang Xinyue looked at Mu Lianfeng and meowed a few times. Wu Zhenju immediately understood and didn't say anything more. Hence, he hurriedly said, all right. It's good that you're fine now. Look at you, you're all wet. Hurry up and change your clothes. Don't catch a cold. Liang Xinyue mumbled, Mother, I don't have any. We're not at home. Where would I get clothes to wear? Wu Zhenju urged Zhao Yun, who was at the side. Yuner, go find a change of clothes for you wear. Although Zhao Yuner was rather displeased with the way Wu Zhenju spoke to her, she knew that Liang Xinyue would catch a cold if she didn't change into clean clothes when she saw how wet she was. If she didn't even lend her clothes, she would seem too stingy. Zhao Yun nodded in response. She glanced at the clothes hanging on the bamboo pole to dry. She had changed out of them after bathing yesterday. The weather today was very hot, and the clothes would be dry after a few hours outside in the sun. Zhao Yuner walked over and touched them. They were indeed dry. Zhao Yuner took them off the pole and then walked over to Wu Zhenju and Liang Xinyue with the clothes. She handed them to them. Here, these are the clothes. Cousin Yuer, go change in the room. Wu Zhenju's face immediately sank when he saw the clothes in Zhao Yuner's hands. Yuner, why did you bring clothes like this for Yuer to wear? Chapter 1800. Wu Zhenju muttered, Yuner girl, you gave Zier a nice set of clothes. Why did you give Yuer such coarse clothes to change into? They're both your cousins, so you can't be biased. You have to give Yuer a nice set of clothes to change into, right? Zhao Yuner's mouth twitched. She thought that Wu Zhenju was scheming something, but it turned out that he was thinking about this. Sure enough, she couldn't understand his weird brain circuits. Could it be that she was easy to negotiate with and easy to bully? Was that why these people came to provoke them again and again? You think the clothes are too shabby? I have to give you a set of expensive clothes? Of course. Yuner girl, Yuer and Zier are all your cousins. As their cousin, you can't be too biased. Let's not talk about expensive clothes. You can't give me these coarse clothes. Wu Zhenju's tone was still full of dissatisfaction. Zhao Yuner came forward and snatched the clothes from Wu Zhenju's hands. Then she glanced at Wu Chengzhu unhappily and said coldly, You don't have to wear it if you don't want to. I'm too lazy to lend it to you. After Zhao Yuner snorted coldly, she turned around and went into the house with the clothes. She didn't even look up. Wu Zhenju was stunned. He didn't expect Zhao Yuner to do this. This. Yuner girl, what do you mean by this? You didn't give Yuer a change of clothes. What if she catches a cold? Wu Zhenju shouted anxiously at Zhao Yuner's back. However, Zhao Yun did not pay attention to her at all and walked straight ahead. Wu Zhenju was petrified for a moment. So, she suffered a double loss. She didn't have any good clothes, so Zhao Yuner didn't even lend them coarse clothes. After being unlucky in front of Zhao Yuner, Wu Zhenju's eyes fell on Liang Jinxiao. He complained to Liang Jinxiao, "Eldest sister, look, why is your Yuner girl like this? I'll be honest, she has this kind of attitude." Liang Jinxiao was very tired. He didn't understand why his second sister-in-law liked to cause trouble and say these things. Zhao Yuner didn't have a good impression of the Liang family. Now, she hated the Liang family even more. Now, old Madame Liang was a sensible person, so she reprimanded Wu Zhenju, second daughter-in-law. "It's already good that Yuner is willing to lend her clothes. You're still being picky. How can she be happy? You're in the wrong. Mother, it's Yuner girl who is biased. Look at the clothes she lent to Zier girl, and look at the clothes she lent to my Yu girl. It's like heaven and earth, okay? That's also her business. She can borrow whatever clothes she wants. Why are you thinking about other people's things? Don't take everything for granted." Old Madame Liang's eyes sharpened. She couldn't stand Wu Zhenju's unreasonable behavior. Why didn't the Liang family have any sensible people? They didn't want to help Zhao Yuner's family. Instead, they made trouble. The more they acted like this, the more Zhao Yuner disliked them. How could she still like the Liang family? Wu Zhenju shut up. Looking at Liang Xinyue's wet clothes, he couldn't do anything. She had to change her clothes. Chapter 1801. I originally wanted to get you clothes that were as pretty as Zier's. Who knew? Wu Zhenju replied embarrassedly. He looked at Liang Xinyue's dissatisfied expression. "Mother, you really don't say what you should say and say what you shouldn't. Look at what's happening now." Liang Xinyue did not hide her complaints at all. Liang Jinxiao sighed slightly as she watched from the side. She felt that this really could not go on, so she said to Liang Xinyue and Wu Zhenju, "I still have some clean clothes. If you doesn't mind, why don't you take my clothes and wear them?" Liang Jinxiao's figure was a little different from Liang Xinyue's. Liang Jinxiao's clothes would definitely be too big for Liang Xinyue. However, they could only make do with the current situation. If they were too particular, Liang Xinyue would only catch a cold. Liang Xinyue thought about it and nodded. "All right then. Auntie, bring me your clothes and make do with them." "All right." Liang Jinxiao replied with a smile before entering the room. Zhao Yuner came out of the room again with a sunken face. She really could not be nice to these people. Liang Xinyue changed into Liang Jinxiao's clothes and came out. She looked at her own clothes and felt that they were really ugly. The pudding clothes were loosely wrapped around her body, making her look even more dusty. Her original elegance had been reduced by a few points. Now that she stood next to Liang Xinyue and compared herself, Liang Xinyue felt that she was not even as pretty as Liang Xinyue. She even felt rather embarrassed to face Mo Yin in the courtyard. Ever since Mo Yin had entered the courtyard with her, Liang Xinyue could not help but pay attention to Mo Yin. She had never thought that Mo Yin would actually know the young master and would even approach him. The two of them whispered to each other, but she did not know what they were talking about. Wu Zhenju noticed Liang Xinyue's strange behavior. Thinking about how Liang Xinyue had returned with Mo Yin, he prodded Liang Xinyue and whispered into Liang Xinyue's ear, "I say, who is this young master? He didn't look like a simple character. Just now, Mother saw the two of you coming back together. Do you know him?" Liang Xinyue quickly shook her head. "Mother, I don't know her. I only saw her today." Wu Zhenju replied resentfully. He then stared at Mo Yin and became rather interested in her. When Mo Yin and Mu Lianfeng finished talking, and Mo Yin sat down to drink some water, Wu Zhenju eagerly made his way over to Mo Yin and began to chat with her enthusiastically. Mo Yin saw that Wu Zhenju was a relative of Zhao Yuner's, so she was too embarrassed to ignore him. "Young master, you look quite handsome. You must be someone important, right?" Mo Yin's lips twitched as she smiled awkwardly. "You must be joking. I'm just an ordinary person. How can I be someone important? At most, she was just a servant for Mu Lianfeng." She really did feel diffident from Wu Jinju's words. Wu Jinju did not believe Mo Yan's words. Instead, he said, "Young master, you really are too modest. Since you're related to the young master, you must be someone important." Mo Yan frowned slightly. How could he say that? However, in the eyes of the villagers, he did seem to possess quite a good status. At the very least, he had an official position similar to a constable. Chapter 1802. Mo Yin was very curious. Why was Wu Jinju asking her this? Wasn't it a little too gossipy? It was like he was investigating her. Mo Yin thought about Wu Jinju's eager expression before replying honestly to Wu Jinju. "No, Annie. I'm still single." Wu Jinju immediately smiled uncontrollably when he heard Mo Yan's reply. "Oh my, that's fantastic." Mo Yin was speechless. What was so fantastic about it? He did not think there was anything fantastic about it. He was already so old. Men around his age already had quite a few children, yet he did not even have a wife. This was not his fault. He was so busy every day that he did not have the time to worry about matters of the heart. However, he did not want to find a random woman either. That would only waste his time and the time of others. Wu Jinju forced himself to calm down when he saw Mo Yan's dumbfounded expression. He was afraid that his reaction would frighten Mo Yan. After wiping away her smile with great difficulty, Wu Jinju made her way over to Mo Yan and asked, "Young master, it's not right for you to not have a family at your age. You can't waste too much time." Mo Yan nodded politely in response. Who knew how many people he had heard that say before? However, whys did not just fall from the sky. How could they just come and go like that? Wu Jinju's smile contained a sliver of calculation. He thought that the heavens really had given him this opportunity. Mo Yan was such a great man, yet he was still single. As a result, he giggled and pulled Liang Xinyue over to Mo Yan. He said to Mo Yan, "Young master, what do you think of my daughter?" Mo Yan raised her head and glanced at Liang Xinyue. She said honestly, "She's pretty. She's quite delicate." Wu Jinju slapped his thigh and giggled. "Ha, young master, you have good taste. Yue grew up in our village and is one of the best girls in the village." After being praised by Wu Jinju, Liang Xinyue lowered her head in embarrassment and pulled the corner of Wu Jinju's clothes shyly. "Mother, don't talk nonsense in front of others. How can you praise your own family members like that?" Wu Jinju did not take it to heart and said shamelessly, "What's the big deal? Mother is speaking the truth, not nonsense." "Mother," Liang Xinyue blushed and no longer dared to look at Mo Yan. However, Liang Xinyue still rejoiced when she heard Mo Yan say that he had never taken a wife and was still single. As long as Mo Yan was single, she would have this opportunity. The heavens had arranged for her to meet Mo Yan and for Mo Yan to step forward and save her when she was in danger. There had to be a reason. Perhaps she and Mo Yan were fated to be a match made in heaven. The more Liang Xinyue thought about it, the sweeter she felt in her heart. She had more expectations in her heart. Seeing how Liang Xinyue had become shy, Wu Jinju did not continue teasing Liang Xinyue. Instead, he turned to Mo Yan and said with a smile, "Young master, since you're not married and Yue is not married either, I think the two of you are a perfect match. May I ask if young master would like to consider my Yue?" Mo Yan was drinking water when Wu Jinju said that. She almost choked and spat the water onto Wu Jinju's face. Wu Jinju was stunned for a moment. Only after a while did he realize that he had been spat on. Chapter 1803. Wu Jinju could only wipe his face with his sleeve as he continued to smile at Mo Yan. Mo Yan coughed violently. She wondered what Wu Jinju was trying to do by asking so many questions so enthusiastically. As it turned out, she wanted to introduce her daughter to him. Was it because he was just too handsome and charming? So his mother-in-law had taken the initiative to come to him? Cough, 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 cough. Liang Xinyue's face became bright red from Wu Jinju's words. She had never thought that Wu Jinju would ask something like that. She was just too shy. "Mother, why? How can you ask something like that? Liang Xinyue lowered her head, as if she was criticizing Wu Jinju. Her voice was so low that it was obvious that she was shy. Wu Jinju remained unconcerned. I'm just asking. Can I just ask? It's all for your own good. You can tell with a single glance that this young master is a good man. It's your fortune to be able to marry him. If we don't ask, we definitely won't have a chance. If we ask, what if we have a chance in the future? Don't you think so? Liang Xinyue bit her lip and acted bashful. She was only saying it, but she was tempted to ask Mo Yin as well. She would be more than happy to be with Mo Yin. She only hoped that Mo Yin would give her an answer now, even though asking this question was a little hasty. Mo Yin became even more dumbfounded by this pair of mother and daughter. He and Liang Xinyue had only met each other today, so he didn't know her at all. How was he supposed to answer a question like that right now? He did not have any feelings for Liang Xinyue. He treated Liang Xinyue the same as any other woman. Marriage was not child's play. If he had just made do with it casually, he would not still be single at this age. And Mo Yin thought about it before telling Wu Jinju the truth. Auntie, I'm not familiar with you, so we don't know each other very well. As a result, I don't have any romantic feelings for you, I have to be careful with my marriage, so I don't want to make do with it casually. Moreover, this matter is decided by my parents. I don't have the final say on who I'm getting married to. I need my parents' approval as well. And Mo Yin had spoken extremely tactfully, but anyone who was not an idiot could tell that he was directly rejecting you, Wu Jinju suddenly felt a sense of loss in her heart. Such a man with such good conditions was probably out of her league. She could understand. After all, Mo Yin was quite pretty and came from a decent family. How could she fall for a country girl? If Mo Yin really did go back and discuss this matter with her parents, they would be even less likely to accept you, Wu Jinju understood, but Liang Xinyue was unable to accept it. Liang Xinyue bit her lip. She felt wronged. Originally, she thought that Mo Yin would have some feelings for her after saving her, but she had never thought that Mo Yin would reject her so directly. It seemed like he really did not like her at all. If he really did like her, he would not be like this. He would definitely say something like, I'll think about it. Thinking about how Mu Lianfeng did not like her and rejected her, she could accept it. Now, even Mo Yin was like this. Was she really that bad? Was there not a single outstanding man who was interested in her? The more she thought about it, the more miserable she felt. Liang Xinyue lowered her head and almost cried. And Mo Yin saw that something was wrong with Liang Xinyue's reaction, so she asked in a hurry, Miss, what's wrong? Did I say something wrong? Chapter 1804. Wu Jinju's face immediately darkened like the bottom of a pot after Liang Jinfen finished speaking. What did you say? Sister-in-law, I said that you're a toad lusting after a swan. Why don't you take a look at what your wearer is like? You're shameless enough to try to get close to her. You're even shameless enough to say something like that. You're clearly throwing your daughter to an outsider. Not many people would do something like that. TSK, TSK, TSK. Liang Jinfen did not hide the mockery in his voice at all, causing Wu Zhanju to flush red in embarrassment. She was already so old, so she understood everything. How could she not know what Liang Jinfen was implying? Haha, second sister, you don't have to be so direct, but you don't have to make a fuss. Your second sister-in-law has done this kind of thing many times. It's not a rare thing, Guo Saixia said with a smile. She was the same as Liang Jinfen. She felt that Wu Zhanju was a toad lusting after a swan. Originally, she was worried that Mo Yin would be foolish enough to agree to Wu Zhanju and Liang Xinyue's relationship, allowing Wu Zhanju and her mother to take advantage of it. Only when she heard Mo Yin's refusal did Guo Saixia become relieved. Wu Zhanju said with a red face, How am I a toad lusting after a swan? He's unmarried, so why can't I ask? That depends on the situation. It's clearly impossible. Isn't that just wishful thinking? Seeing that they had quarreled again, Zhao Yin said coldly, If you want to quarrel, then get out of my house. You're so annoying. The three women only calmed down when they saw Zhao Yun's ugly expression. They were afraid that Zhao Yun'er would really get angry and chase them out. It was still very hot right now. If they went back at this time, they would get heat stroke. Mo Yin saw the displeasure on Zhao Yun'er's face. Thinking about how this matter seemed to have arisen because of her, she became rather worried that Zhao Yun'er would blame her for this, right? Aunts, please don't hurt your friendship because of me. I'm not saying this because of Miss Yuer's identity. If two people really like each other, I don't care about their identities. It's just marriage. It's not child's play. I've only met Yuer today, so how can I have feelings for her? Mo Yin explained after a moment of hesitation. The meaning of his words was that the reason he rejected Liang Xinyue was not because he despised Liang Xinyue for being a country bumpkin and not worthy of him. It was purely because he had no feelings for her and did not like her. After Liang Xinyue heard this, the rims of her eyes became even redder. She felt as if a stone had been smashed into her heart, causing her to be unable to breathe. If Mo Yin despised her identity, she might have felt better. However, when she thought about how Mo Yin did not have any feelings for her, Liang Xinyue felt even more despair. She was quite pretty after all, so why did so many outstanding men not have any feelings for her? Just what did she lack? Even someone of Zhao Yun'er's status could gain the favor of the young master, so why couldn't she do the same with her status? The more Liang Xinyue thought about it, the more depressed she felt. Coupled with the mockery from Liang Jinfin and Guo Caixia earlier, she felt ashamed. Mother, I told you to stop spouting nonsense. All you know is to spout nonsense. Do you only feel happy when young Master Mo says something like that? Liang Xinyue complained to Wu Jinju. She wiped away the tears from the corner of her eyes and glanced at Mo Yin before directly running out. Where? Wu Jinju called out in a hurry. He was rather worried, afraid that something would happen to Liang Xinyue. Chapter 1805. Wu Jinju sighed. He felt that Liang Jinxiao was right, so he could only leave Liang Xinyue alone to calm down. How could she not feel terrible that she had missed out on such a good husband? Mo Yin rubbed her forehead and felt a sense of guilt. It seemed like he had caused quite a lot of trouble. Should he not have appeared? If she had known earlier, she would not have left the mountain. Zhao Yun'er seemed to see through what Mo Yin was thinking. She walked up to Mo Yin and patted her shoulder. Don't pay attention to them. Mo Yin smiled awkwardly. Miss Yun'er, aren't they your relatives? Zhao Yun'er snorted gently. So what if they're my relatives? I don't even like them. So why are you being so attentive? Mo Yin fell silent. She felt that Zhao Yun'er did make sense. Zhao Yun did not seem to have a good impression of these relatives. She probably cannot be bothered with them. If that was the case, there was no need for her to deal with them carefully. After sitting for a while, Zhao Yun'er realized that none of the family members had any intentions of leaving. She ignored them and went to rest in her room. After a busy day, he was very tired. Especially after lunch, he was very sleepy. After Mu Lianfeng finished fetching water, Liang Jinxiao and Li Chuiying busied themselves with washing the dishes. The others stayed in Zhao Yun'er's house to rest, chatting from time to time. Mu Lianfeng walked into the room and saw Zhao Yun'er sleeping on the bed. Her forehead was covered in a thin layer of sweat, so he walked up to Zhao Yun'er. He took out a small fan and gently fanned Zhao Yun'er. The afternoon was extremely hot, especially now. The treetops outside did not move at all. There was no breeze at all. Although the room was cooler than outside, it was still very hot. If it weren't for the fact that she was too tired, Zhao Yun'er probably wouldn't have been able to fall asleep. Feeling a gust of cold wind, Zhao Yun'er suddenly woke up in a daze and looked at Mu Lianfeng. Yun'er, did I wake you up? Mu Lianfeng said gently with a hint of guilt in his voice. Zhao Yun'er shook her head. No, I feel cool all of a sudden. It turns out that you helped me fan. Mu Lianfeng's lips curled into a doting smile. It's too hot. You'll feel uncomfortable sleeping. I'll fan you. You'll feel better. Zhao Yun'er replied. All right, then I'll go back to sleep. Yes. With the accompaniment of the cool breeze, Zhao Yun'er slept a lot more comfortably. She slept for 2 hours. The family Qin family did not go back. It It was not because they disliked the hot weather and wanted to wait for the sun to set before going back. It was because they saw Zhao Yun'er's big house and felt too comfortable. They simply could not bear to go back. The 10 or so brick house looked very imposing. The feeling of staying inside was too different from staying in a thatched hut. After the banquet, the family Qin family members walked around Zhao Yun'er's house. They did not hide the envy in their eyes. Mu Chunfang sighed softly in Qin Dahai's ear. "Ai, Yuaner's father. Look, the family Qin's house is really big and imposing. I'm afraid it won't be able to be built without tens or hundreds of taels of silver." Qin Dahai nodded and replied, "That's right. This house indeed costs tens or hundreds of taels of silver." Chapter 1806. Qin Dahai pursed his lips and said, "Forget it. Don't even talk about such a big house. It's already good enough to have half of it. We definitely won't be able to save up that much money for now." Mu Chunfang nodded. Based on their current rate of earning money, who knew how long it would take to build such a big house? Their family Qin's life was much better than before, but compared to the truly wealthy, they were still far from it. A house cost a few dozen taels. How could they take out that much money so casually? Mu Chunfang sighed in Qin Dahai's ear. "Sigh, if you ask me, this family Qin really isn't very nice. We're already so close, but they don't even help us out when they're rich. What's the point of having so much money in their hands? It's not like they can finish spending it in the countryside." Qin Dahai replied, "You can't say that. They have no reason to help us. If they help us, it's out of friendship. If they don't help us, it's their duty. Look at how brothers don't give money to each other when they're rich." Mu Chunfang naturally understood this logic. However, the more he looked at Zhao Yun'er's house, the more he felt that the difference between the two families was too obvious. He felt a little jealous. "Mother, my stomach hurts. I want to poop." Qin Chuan held his stomach and shouted loudly in the living room. With this shout, the Liang family's gazes fell on Qin Chuan. They looked at the family Qin with disdain and disdain. Mu Chunfang's face turned red in embarrassment. He naturally knew that Qin Chuan was in someone else's house, and in front of so many people, it was not appropriate for him to say such things. Hence, he walked in front of Qin Chuan and glared at him. "If you want poop, just do it. Why are you shouting so loudly? Come to Mother and say it softly. Won't Mother hear it then?" Qin Chuan pursed his lips and replied unhappily, "But Mother, I'm like this at home. At home is at home. There's so many people here. Aren't you ashamed?" Boo-hoo. Qin Chuan felt wronged. He didn't understand why Mu Chunfang was suddenly so fierce. "Mother, I can't hold it in anymore." Qin Chuan tugged at Mu Chunfang's clothes and muttered. As he spoke, Qin Chuan probably really let out a loud fart because of the stomachache. It caused a huge commotion in the hall. When the Qin family members heard Qin Chuan's fart, they were shocked by this sudden fart. After a while, the hall was filled with the stench of farts. When everyone smelled the smell, they almost couldn't stand it and vomited. Thus, they all covered their noses and disliked the family Qin even more. "It stinks, it stinks," Wu Zhenju muttered. He glared at the family Qin people as if he wanted to cut them into pieces. He did not give the family Qin people any face. Mu Chunfang's face turned even redder. He replied to Wu Zhenju with some embarrassment, "I'm so sorry. My Chuan is a little abnormal here." As Mu Chunfang spoke, he pointed at his head, indicating that there was something wrong with Qin Chuan's intelligence. If there was something wrong with one's intelligence, most people should be more tolerant. They couldn't be calculative with a fool. Chapter 1807. Mu Chunfang's expression turned even uglier. She knew that Qin Chuan's fart had a bad influence, but wasn't this a situation that she had not expected? If she had known that Qin Chuan would fart like this, she would have brought him somewhere else to avoid being despised here. "Sister, I'm sorry. It's my Chuan-er's fault. I'll bring him away now." Mu Chunfang gritted her teeth and apologized. She did not want to blow up the matter. There were so many people in the Liang family. How could their family fight? Qin Dahai's face was also full of embarrassment. However, he had seen many such looks of disdain and disdain. Who asked his son to have a mental problem? A fool like him would be despised wherever he went. After a long time, he had gotten used to it and felt that it was nothing. Seeing Qin Chuan's ignorant and aggrieved expression, Qin Dahai's heart ached. Yuan Er's mother, bring Chuan Er away. Qin Dahai urged. Mu Chunfang responded, Okay, Yuan Er's father. As she spoke, Mu Chunfang held Qin Chuan's hand and said to Qin Yuan, Let's go. Mother will take you to poop. Only then did Qin Chuan cheer and walk out of the house. He could not hold on any longer. If he was any later, he might have pooped in his pants. After the Qin couple brought Qin Chuan out of the hall, Wu Zhenju continued to grumble in disdain. What kind of people are they? Seriously, I can tell that the whole family isn't a good thing. Liang Jinfen snorted and agreed. They're poor. They're used to being poor and have not seen much of the world. Their whole family is poor. Did you see just now? That family ate a lot. Once the dishes were served, they couldn't wait to eat them. We didn't even eat much, especially that old woman. She stuffed all the good food into that fool's bowl. He ate so much in one go. Now that his stomach is hurting, I think it's retribution. Wu Zhenju nodded in agreement. You're right. I don't usually eat anything good, but I stuffed myself with so much today. How can I digest it? Naturally, there will be problems. Liang Jinfen said with disdain in his eyes, I don't know if Big Sister is blind to have such in-laws. If my family Qin was like them, we would have kicked them out long ago. Guo Caixia sighed. What can we do? Look at Ping Er. It's good enough that someone is willing to take her in. How can they be picky? Sister-in-law, what you said makes sense. It's all because that Ping Er girl is too ugly. Otherwise, who would be willing to marry such a family Qin? Sigh, let's not talk about it anymore. It's fine as long as it's not ours. We're only together today. We don't have to be together on normal days. Once in a few hundred years, this family is going to see each other every day. It's disgusting. Wu Zhenju frowned, his face full of displeasure. When he said this, he did not think about his own behavior at all. Mu Chunfang brought Qin Chuan out of the house. Before they reached the toilet, Qin Chuan could not hold it in anymore. He took off his pants halfway and started to poop. When Mu Chunfang saw this, he was stunned. Chuan, why don't you poop in the toilet? It's broad daylight. Wouldn't it be bad if someone saw you? Mu Chunfang frowned and muttered. He looked at Qin Chuan's big white butt and blushed. Chapter 1808. It was fine if other men saw Qin Chuan's big white, but if a woman saw it, something would probably happen. As Mu Chunfang spoke, he looked around. Fortunately, Zhao Yun'er's house was on the mountain, and there was no one around. No one could see them now. Qin Chuan looked at Mu Chunfang pitifully. Mother, I couldn't hold it in. Sob, sob, sob. I didn't do it on purpose. Mu Chunfang comforted him. All right. It's fine if you can't hold it in. Just poop here. Mu Chunfang sighed and said to Qin Dahai, Yuan Er's father, the two of us have to guard here. Don't let anyone see us, or else we'll be mocked again. Got it. Qin Dahai nodded. Qin Chuan was a grown man, so they naturally had to guard him. Otherwise, wouldn't it be awkward if someone saw them? Qin Chuan held his stomach as he pooped. Mother, it hurts so much. It still hurts. Mu Chunfang frowned, a hint of worry in his eyes. What's going on? Why does his stomach still hurt? I think he probably ate too much today and got a stomachache. There's too much oil in this family Qin banquet. Why don't we eat oil normally? It's easy to spoil things if we eat too much oil all of a sudden, Qin Dahai explained. Mu Chunfang nodded. I see. Then it's normal for Chuan Er to have a stomachache. Yeah, Chuan Er continued to poop. Just poop more. Mu Chunfang comforted him again. Qin Chuan squatted on the ground, gritted his teeth, and pooped for a while. Finally, he called out to Mu Chunfang, Mother, I'm done. Come over and help me wipe my butt. Fortunately, no one was around at the moment. Otherwise, Mu Chunfang felt that she would lose face again. Mu Chunfang touched his pocket and said, I didn't bring any toilet paper. Yuan Er's father, did you bring any? Qin Dahai shook his head and said, You didn't bring any. How would I bring any? Then why don't we go and get some from our in-laws? Qin Dahai frowned and replied, I think it's better to forget about it. If you go over now, you'll be despised again. Mu Chunfang nodded. Chuaner's father, you're right. Pinger's uncles and aunts don't look like good people. Their words are so harsh. That's right. That's why you shouldn't bother with these things. Otherwise, you'll be despised by others. Mu Chunfang nodded and looked around. It was summer, and the surroundings were filled with thick leaves. She walked over Qin Chuan and wiped his butt with a few leaves. She must have hurt Qin Chuan. Qin Chuan grumbled, "Mother, be gentle, be gentle. It hurts so much. This thing hurts my butt." Mu Chunfang grumbled, "All right, just make do with it. What else can you do? Only the tree leaves can wipe your ass. You cannot wipe it, right?" Qin Chuan responded with an aggrieved expression. After Qin Chuan was done, Wu Zhenju's stomach also started to hurt. She also ate a lot for lunch today. Now, her stomach was hurting just like Qin Chuan. I can't take it anymore. My stomach hurts too. I need to go to the toilet." He's probably still in the toilet. Wait a moment. Liang Jinhui nagged. Wu Zhenju gritted her teeth and responded. She couldn't possibly squeeze with Qin Chuan now, right? Chapter 1809. After venting, Wu Zhenju's entire body felt much more comfortable, and her body also relaxed. Wu Zhenju heaved a sigh of relief. After he was done, he got up from the latrine, fastened his pants, and walked out of the latrine. As he walked, Wu Zhenju suddenly felt that something was wrong. He seemed to have stepped on something sticky. It would have been better if he didn't look, but when he did, he was almost disgusted, because what he saw when he lowered his head was none other than a disgusting pile of poop. The poop was still wet. It was obvious that he had just pooped not long ago. Wu Zhenju clutched his chest and almost vomited. He hurriedly rubbed his feet on the grass a few times and only stopped when it was almost clean. He couldn't help but curse. What kind of person is this? Who is so disgusting to poop here? Why didn't he use the latrine when there was a latrine? Did he purposely let someone step on it? After he was done cursing, Wu Zhenju's eyes darted around. He thought that no one would do such a disgusting thing. Normal people would definitely go to the latrine, except for abnormal people. He suddenly realized that Qin Chuan, that idiot, had just pooped. It seemed like it could only be him. At the thought of this, Wu Zhenju felt like he couldn't vent his anger. She already disliked the family Qin people, and now that they had made her feel disgusted, she couldn't wait to teach them a lesson. Wu Zhenju couldn't suppress the anger in his heart. He angrily ran towards Zhao Yuner's house. The moment he saw Qin Chuan, he went up to him and spat at him. When the family Qin people saw this situation, they couldn't remain calm. They had already tolerated the Liang family enough, but they couldn't bully them to this extent, right? What are you doing? Mu Chunfang only asked coldly. He didn't have a good attitude towards Wu Zhenju either. Qin Dahai went up to Wu Zhenju and complained, "Sister, what are you doing? I'm just fine. How did I offend you?" Wu Zhenju continued to spit and scolded like a shrew. "What have you done?" Could it be that he was still unclear in his heart? Do I have to mention it? Qin Dahai's face darkened. "What have we done? Why don't you just tell me? It's not like you've killed or set a fire. Is there a need to be so rash?" Wu Zhenju put his hands on his waist, pointed at the family Qin, and scolded, "Your whole family is shameless, always doing shameful things. Don't use a fool as a shield. Could it be that a fool doesn't know how to poop in a latrine? I really had to hand it to him. He just found a random place to poop and settled it? How can you be so vulgar?" Hearing Wu Zhenju's scolding, the family Qin members immediately understood what Wu Zhenju was referring to, and their faces turned red. Although Mu Chunfang was a little embarrassed, he still said stubbornly, "So what? Our Chuan, but didn't do it on purpose. He can hold it in halfway, so he pooped. This matter doesn't affect you, so why are you so angry at us?" Qin Dahai agreed. "That's right. This is our matter. What right do you have to tell us what to do? Isn't it a little too much to treat us like this?" Wu Zhenju's face darkened as he said to Mu Chunfang and Qin Dahai, "It's indeed none of my business where you poop, but you should choose a better place to poop, right? If you poop on the way to the latrine, won't people step on it if they don't pay attention? Aren't you afraid of disgusting people to death?" Chapter 1810. The Qin couple looked down and saw that Wu Jinju's feet were indeed stained with some feces. There was still some feces on his feet that had not been wiped clean. They immediately blushed with guilt. Wu Jinju did not let them off and continued to scold. What kind of family are you? You're not presentable, yet you still dare to come out and embarrass yourselves. Qin Dahai was embarrassed. Even so, he could not say that about their family, right? What right did Qin Chuan have to scold their entire family for what he did? Mu Chunfang was originally holding back, but when he saw that Wu Zhenju's scolding was getting more and more vicious, he gritted his teeth in anger and scolded back. Our Chuaner did not do it on purpose. Who asked you to be careless? What a waste of your eyes. I think you're more like blind. Wu Zhenju was so angry that his body trembled. Who are you calling blind? Who else could I be scolding? Of course it's you. Mu Chunfang also spat on the ground. All right, who do you think you are? How dare you scold me? See if I don't come over and teach you a lesson. Wu Zhenju rolled up his sleeves and looked like he was about to fight. Mu Chunfang was also angry and retorted indignantly. All right, come on. Whoever admits defeat first today is a beast. The commotion caused by the two families woke up Zhao Yun, who was sleeping in the room. Zhao Yun rubbed her sleepy eyes. She felt much better after sleeping for 2 hours, but her head was still groggy. Zhao Yun frowned when she heard the commotion. Every one of them was troublesome. She was afraid that they wanted to cause a ruckus in her house. Yin, do you want to sleep for a while more? Mu Yinfeng whispered into Zhao Yun's ear. Zhao Yun shook her head. There's so much noise outside. How can I sleep? Mu Yinfeng sighed slightly. He had a headache dealing with Zhao Yun's extreme relatives. Thinking of what Liang Xinyue had done to him today, Mu Yinfeng still felt very uncomfortable in his heart. He did not intend to tell Zhao Yun about this matter. He was afraid that it would make Zhao Yun unhappy. As long as he knew in his heart that he could not have any thoughts about other women, no one could replace Zhao Yun in his heart. It's better if we don't interact with these relatives in the future, Mu Yinfeng muttered. Zhao Yun nodded. If she could walk less, she naturally didn't want to have any contact with these weirdos. Zhao Yun tidied up and walked out of the house. When she saw Wu Zhenju and the family Qin people fighting, Zhao Yun raised the cup on the table and smashed it at the feet of Wu Zhenju and the Qin couple. Then, she warned them in a cold voice. All of you get out of here. Don't forget that this is my house. Wu Zhenju and the Qin couple were shocked. They subconsciously jumped away when the cup fell to the ground. Wu Zhenju patted her chest in shock. If she hadn't jumped in time, just now, the cup would have smashed directly on her body. They looked at Zhao Yun in fear. Zhao Yun's eyes were cold. Before they could speak, Zhao Yun repeated, It's getting late. The banquet is over, and the sun is setting. I think you should go back. This was a direct gesture to chase them away. Zhao Yun thought that the house would be quieter after these people left. Chapter 1811. The Qin couple pursed their lips. That Yin, Ping and Yuan haven't come back yet. We have to wait for her to come back before we go back together. Zhao Yun replied angrily. That's her business. You can go out and wait. My house can't accommodate these big Buddhas. Her attitude was very obvious. There was no room for discussion. They had to leave now. The Qin couple looked at each other. They originally wanted to talk to Zhao Yun nicely. Zhao Yun shouldn't be too difficult. Now, seeing Zhao Yun's attitude, they knew that Zhao Yun wouldn't agree no matter what they said. The Liang family was even more embarrassed. Liang Jinshun stood up and said, Okay, it's almost time. Let's go back. With Liang Jinshun's words, the others followed suit. It was indeed not early. Even if they didn't want to go back, they couldn't stay at Zhao Yun's house for long. There was no point in wasting time. They couldn't stay at Zhao Yun's house for the night. That husband about mother. Guo Caixia pointed at old Madame Liang. They had discussed before and arranged for old Madame Yang to stay at Zhao Yun's house for a period of time. Liang Jinshun glanced at old Madame Yang and then discussed with Zhao Yun. Yinner, can your grandmother stay at your house for a period of time? It's very hot in our thatched hut. At night, the mosquitoes are very noisy. Your grandmother can't sleep well every night. She can't lift her spirits. She said that she felt much better after sleeping at your house last night. So we, as her children, think that if your grandmother stays at your house for a period of time, her health may be much better. When summer is over, we will take your grandmother back. She won't stay here forever. Zhao Yun heard Liang Jinshuan's words and glanced at old Madame Liang. Old Madame Liang lowered her head and looked a little lonely. How could she not know that her uncles and aunts only felt that her grandmother was a burden? Now, they wanted to abandon her family as much as possible. Zhao Yun'er thought for a while. If old Madame Liang was a troublemaker, she naturally wouldn't stay. But after meeting her several times, she felt that old Madame Liang was an amiable old lady. She was good to her. After thinking for a moment, Zhao Yun'er agreed. All right then, Grandma will stay at my house for a while. Wu Jinju and Guo Saixia both heaved a sigh of relief, as if they had just gotten rid of a burden. These people's reactions naturally fell into Zhao Yun'er's eyes. Zhao Yun secretly sighed. They were all unfilial people. Their parents worked hard to raise them, but when they were old, they didn't know how to treat them well. Old Madame Liang looked at Zhao Yun'er with a touch of guilt in her eyes. After all, she might disturb Zhao Yun'er's family in the coming days. Zhao Yun'er didn't think much of it. One more person was just one more mouth to feed. There were so many people at home who could help with the trivial matters on a daily basis. Liang Jinshun smiled and said, "That's good. Yun'er girl, then we'll go back first." Okay. Seeing that the weirdo was about to leave, the cold light in Zhao Yun'er's eyes receded. Seeing that the Liang family was about to leave, the family Qin people suddenly became anxious. They wanted to delay and not leave, but when the others left, they didn't have the intention to stay. Chapter 18:12. The Qin couple's face revealed a trace of embarrassment. They smiled embarrassedly and said, "Little Yun'er, just let us wait a little longer. Although the sun is setting outside, it's still very hot. Also, it's easy for our legs to hurt if we stand up. We're already so old. How can we withstand the torment?" Zhao Yun'er replied without any trace of politeness. "What does that have to do with me?" The Qin couple did not expect Zhao Yun'er to be so direct and rude. She was even a little vulgar. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er's expression was not good and her words were unpleasant, Mu Chunfang silently scolded Zhao Yun'er a few times as hard. "In any case, we're in-laws. You can't be so ruthless. It's really bad luck to have to deal with this kind of person." Mu Chunfang could not help but mutter. Qin Dahai hurriedly poked Mu Chunfang's arm, indicating that Mu Chunfang should stop talking. It would not be good if Zhao Yun'er heard it. However, Zhao Yun'er could not be bothered with these people. Instead, she said lightly, "I'll count to 3. If you don't leave, then don't blame me for being rude." The Qin couple did not seem to care about Zhao Yun'er's threat. They wanted to continue staying and not leave. Zhao Yun'er directly called out to Little Hay outside. "Little Hay, come here." Little Hay was originally lying under the shade of a tree. The weather was very hot, and he was covered in fur. He felt even more uncomfortable than a human. He stuck out his tongue and kept sticking it out. When he heard Zhao Yun'er's call, Little Hay quivered. He immediately got up from the ground and ran into the house. At first, the Qin couple did not know why Zhao Yun'er called the dog into the house. When Little Hay came in, the Qin couple finally understood what Zhao Yun'er was planning to do. She was afraid that they would continue to stay and not leave, so she let the dog chase them away. "Little Hay, I'll leave these people to you." Xiao Hay understood what Zhao Yun'er meant. It bared its fangs and barked at the Qin couple. It looked like it was going to pounce on them and bite them. The Qin couple was shocked, while Qin Chuan was so scared that he hid behind them and almost cried. If this continued, their family would be bitten by dogs. Hence, the Qin couple pulled Qin Chuan along and ran out of Zhao Yun'er's house. Seeing them slip away so quickly, Zhao Yun'er's lips curled into a mocking smile. She really refused a toast, only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Previously, he had spoken nicely and ignored her, but now she had to escape in such a sorry state. Perhaps some people were masochistic in nature. After the Liang family and the rest of the family left, the hall of Zhao Yun'er's house became empty, and the house became much quieter. Outside the house, Liang Jinyu had already helped Zhao Yun'er prepare the bowls and chopsticks. The kitchen was also tidied up. Now that the sun had set and the family Qin people had gone back, Liang Jinyu bid farewell to Zhao Yun'er's family. "Mother, big sister, it's getting late. I'll go back too." "Wait, Ani," Zhao Yun'er called out to Liang Jinyu. "Yun'er, what's wrong?" "Ani, there are a lot of leftovers from my family's banquet. Take some back." Liang Jinyu hurriedly waved her hand. "Yun'er, I can't. Chapter 1813. Liang Jinxiao chimed in. "Little sister, Yun'er is right. You should at least bring some back for brother-in-law and the children to try." Liang Jinyu frowned and seemed to be in a dilemma. For so many years, she was not used to taking advantage of others, so she generally did not accept gifts from relatives. Zhao Yun knew Liang Jinyu's temperament and said, "Little aunt, actually, if you don't take it, my family won't be able to finish it. In this weather, leftovers can't be kept for long and will easily go bad." After listening to Zhao Yun's words, Liang Jinyu thought for a moment. Just now, when she helped Zhao Yun clean up the house, she saw that there were indeed a lot of leftovers in the kitchen. Zhao Yun's family did not have many people. Even if she gave some to other relatives, it would probably take 2 or 3 days to finish it. In this weather, how could leftovers be kept for 2 or 3 days? After one night, they would probably go bad. If she refused to accept it, then wouldn't the leftovers in Zhao Yun's house go to waste? Liang Jinyu thought for a moment and finally nodded. "Okay, Yun'er, make some for me." "Okay." Zhao Yun'er's mouth curved into a satisfied smile. Fortunately, Liang Jinyu was enlightened, so she did not have to waste her words to persuade her. After entering the kitchen, Zhao Yun picked some more meat. She knew that people in the countryside generally liked to eat meat, so she could make those vegetarian dishes at home. Now that Liang Jinyu's family planted a lot of land and did a lot of work, children and adults should eat more meat. With enough oil, they would be able to work hard. However, Liang Jinyu was really poor. It was good enough that the family could eat enough. They could only eat meat during festivals. When Zhao Yun came out with a big bag of meat, Liang Jinyu could not help but sigh. "Yun'er, you've made too much, right?" "Not much. I still have a lot left at home. It's a waste if we can't finish it." "Annie, if you bring more back, you'll definitely be able to finish it." Zhao Yun'er was right. Liang Jinyu had a lot of children. She could probably finish a few bowls of meat by herself. There was no reason for her to not be able to finish it. Liang Jinyu smiled embarrassedly. "All right then, Yun'er girl, I won't be polite with you. Then I'll accept it." Yeah. Liang Jinyu did not stay any longer and hurried back to the village. There was still a long way to go between the two villages. If they went back too late, Liang Jinyu would probably have to wait until the sky turned dark. On the other hand, Li Chuang also got up and prepared to go back. Zhao Yun'er thought that besides her and Liang Jinxiao, Li Chuang had done the most work and was the most tired. There were so many leftovers at home. Zhao Yun'er also packed some food for Li Chuang so that Li Chuang could take it back, so that Li Chuang would not have to go through the trouble of preparing dinner. At first, Li Chuang refused like Liang Jinyu, but after being persuaded by Zhao Yun'er, he obediently accepted the leftovers from Zhao Yun'er. Now, Li Chuang knew how to be grateful. After accepting Zhao Yun'er's things, he thought that in the future, when Zhao Yun'er's family had work to do, he should come over to help. He could not take advantage of her. Zhao Yun'er rested for a while, and dusk gradually fell. Today's excitement passed very quickly. The big house was not as lively as it was during the day, but she could have a good sleep at night. Chapter 1814. For dinner, Zhao Yun'er's family heated up some leftovers and made do with it. Zhao Yun put the leftovers in the simple fridge. With ice cubes, the leftovers naturally wouldn't spoil easily. She could take them out when she wanted to eat them later. After dinner, Zhao Yun boiled a large pot of hot water and prepared to take a good bath. Although the weather was very hot, a hot bath would still make the body feel much more comfortable. After boiling the water, Mu Yinfeng helped Zhao Yun carry the water into the room. Yun'er, let me help you bathe? Mu Yinfeng asked, his eyes flashing with a hint of calculation. Zhao Yun'er's face suddenly turned red, thinking that she was hallucinating. Did Mu Yinfeng say that? You're helping me bathe? Zhao Yun'er asked weakly, confirming that it wasn't Mu Yinfeng who said that. That's right. Mu Yinfeng nodded. Zhao Yun'er swallowed her saliva, her ears turning even redder. Mu Yinfeng explained, Yun'er, you're very tired today. Take a bath later, and I'll help you massage. Your tiredness will definitely subside, and you won't be so tired anymore. Zhao Yun hesitated and said embarrassedly, There's no need. Then wouldn't I be seen naked by you? She felt very shy just thinking about it. When she and Mu Yinfeng did that kind of thing, they always did it at night, when it was so dark that they couldn't see each other's bodies clearly. If she were to be seen naked by Mu Yinfeng, just thinking about it would make her blush and her heart beat faster. Mu Yinfeng's eyebrows were raised, and there was a hint of mockery in his eyes. He moved closer to Zhao Yun'er and gently blew into her ear. Yun'er, which part of your body haven't I seen before? Zhao Yun'er did not expect Mu Yinfeng to become so lecherous and shameless. Her face turned even redder. She had never imagined what Mu Yinfeng would look like when he turned into a hooligan. Now, she finally saw it for herself. He was supposed to be a cold and aloof Prince Charming. Why didn't he work in front of her? When Mu Yinfeng saw Zhao Yun'er's shyness, he continued to smile and said, Yun'er, now that we are husband and wife, we will officially become husband and wife after the wedding. You don't have to be shy in front of me, right? Zhao Yun'er was so embarrassed that she did not want to talk to Mu Yinfeng. A pervert was a pervert. Why would he talk about such nonsense? Originally, Zhao Yun'er wanted to refuse, but Mu Yinfeng did not give her a chance to escape. He stayed in the room and did not leave. Zhao Yun'er could only glare at Mu Yinfeng. Under Mu Yinfeng's scorching gaze, she slowly unbuttoned her clothes. Fortunately, there was only one candle in the room, so the light was not very bright. After changing her clothes, Zhao Yun'er quickly got into the wooden tub and began to soak in it. Her hiding place was just right to be covered by the water. This way, she would not be so shy in front of Mu Yinfeng. Mu Yinfeng walked to the side of the wooden tub and took a towel to help Zhao Yun'er wipe her body. Zhao Yun'er was embarrassed at first, but then she found that Mu Yinfeng was helping her wash. She did not need to do anything and felt quite comfortable. Leaning against the edge of the wooden tub, Zhao Yun'er closed her eyes and lay down with a look of enjoyment. As Mu Yinfeng washed, he helped Zhao Yun'er rub her shoulders and back. His technique was very skillful. It seemed that he had done this many times. Mu Yinfeng's hands moved forward mischievously and grabbed the two soft lumps in front of Zhao Yun'er. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.